welcome viewers. I'm RxOliver, these are my friends, and tonight we are again playing Ashes Without Number. This is after the end, this is session 2. I am here with the wonderful, amazing Mr. Brian C. from the Council of Bryans, Mr. Max, the wonderful Emma, and Logan 9 from the Council of Bryans. Without any further ado, the Council of Bryans. Without any further ado, I will hand it over to our games master for the evening, Brian. Thank you.
Last session, the short beginnings of the session that we enjoyed, you may recall, and I'll throw up the map again, that you had camped for the night in the current location you're at.
It was like an alleyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, you had kind of hunkered down in an alleyway, for the evening after you've spent 2 days scouting the particular hex that you're in. That it basically covers a lot of the what is it again? Emma Ramos Mayer area
Oh, the district.
Do you throw the map on?
Well, I was going to throw the map up, but I wanted to build up to it. So
Oh,
you
okay, sorry.
discovered as you were scouting, you discovered a few locations that include so the hex is now scouted, and you
Ramos
discovered a
Mejia.
supermarket. What's that?
Ramos Mejia.
Yeah, Ramos Mejia.
Oh,
But yeah, one of you spotted a supermarket relatively nearby, technically in the other hex. You already knew about the hospital kind of in the northern part of the hex. But you also discovered or scouted, right? You haven't gone to any of these places yet specifically. A police substation that looks relatively intact, a church that is more south of Ramos Mejia in Isidro Casanova, and then also an auto repair shop that you caught sight of nearby as well. Traveling in and through scouted hexes is relatively easy, which is one of the reasons why you want to scout hexes. But as you discovered last time, it takes time. So it took you 2 days. I did want to inquire of Sophia, who you're currently playing, right, Emma?
yep.
I did want to inquire as to whether or not she used her iron stomach on the first day or the second day.
She did it
Because
on
you've
the
already
first
spent
day.
2 days. Okay.
She did it on the first day.
Well, no, technically she would have to do it on the second. Well, it doesn't matter because you guys have already consumed your rations. According to my notes, you have enough food for 3 more days. Or no, I'm sorry. You have enough food for 3 of you for 1 more day. So that means you're going to have to find some food.
Or eat dog.
Well, technically you will survive today because Sophia can use her iron stomach again today. But you'll definitely need to find more food tomorrow.
Iron stomach
As
means
we
she
established,
can go on half
What's that?
rations, isn't it? She can go 2 days on 1 day's rations or something like that.
yeah, she can with her iron stomach.
Yeah.
Now, as we discussed last time as well, you don't really have to worry about water, which is good because, water is another thing that takes up space and you'd have to carry around with you. But because it is winter, a winter that you've been surviving in for several years now, it's relatively easy to find snow. Even if it's a little dirty, you boil it and then drink it after it cools down and you're good, right? So I'm going to assume that all of you have some kind of water bottle or canteen or something like that that you just constantly, when you have the opportunity, fill up with snow melt. Have recently killed, or perhaps it's better to say put out of their misery, two very sickly looking, to the point of like almost mutated wild dogs that had come upon you as you just recently rose in the morning to head out. So you could do something with that if you choose. That's going to be a survival roll if anybody wants to try to recover some meat or possibly even skin or bone, because skin and bone is technically a tech level 1 material that you could use to craft with.
Well, you got the Master Crafter King and sitting there kind of like, ee.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea to
But
take the skin and bones, but I don't know if we're as desperate to eat them yet.
Yeah, it's just with the cancerous stuff on that one, we just don't know
There's
what
that
it is.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, the big
Okay.
mutated growths, we don't really fancy that.
So I will say this though, it is morning, right? You just had this encounter in the morning. So it will take some time to process what you need from the animals to get some very primitive crafting supplies. So if you want to take some of your day to do that, you can, but I'm going to say it's going to take at least half of your travel day, which is 10 hours roughly you have to spend.
Do you think we could able to take it with us? Like, like maybe somehow like find something to drag them with, like, like a piece of cheap metal or something. We can drag the bodies with us and go to like the supermarket, because you say we're going to need food anyways.
It's a possibility. That's up to you. You tell me what you want to do or what you're trying to do, and I will adjudicate.
Yeah, so like Kings is actually looking over the bodies and kind of poke him out with a stick or something he finds, and he's just kind of just looking at him, just like,
So do you want to try and scavenge some basic materials to?
Yes.
So basically, here's the thing: scavenging also takes time. So the way you're describing it to me, you want to potentially scavenge up some materials to make essentially like a draggable cart or something. But the reason why you're doing that is just to have access to some more materials. So it would be kind of a wash. Like you'd be scavenging for materials to be able to bring materials that are already in front of you. Whereas if you just take some time with a knife that you all have and some work, you should be able to harvest some materials from these bodies before moving on. It's your call though. You can do it however you want.
I'm happy to spend the time and harvest the skin and bones, because skin is always going to be handy. Foreign skin is always going to be handy for making clothes, for making, for like,
especially winter.
Yeah, making even for putting on roofs if we make a building, if we've got some sort of shelter. I think the skin is definitely.
Oh yeah, that's true. Now the additional thing to keep in mind too is if one of you is going to harvest the dogs, because some of you might not even want to be present. I don't know what your characters feel, but like Emma, I don't think she wants to be around while these dogs are slaughtered.
No, Sophia will probably go to somewhere else to scavenge.
That was my point. Is you guys can sure, but the rest of you can actually do some scavenging for more materials or food or something like that, while someone slaughters the dogs for supplies.
So as a priest, as a leader of people, I'm going to volunteer to do the dirty work, and I'll skin the dogs.
I was like, well,
are you good at survival? Because that would be a survival test.
Survival. I think I have got survival. No, I've got -1. Anybody got better than -1 on survival?
I got a -1. I fixed stuff.
Abigail?
So hang on.
Let me check.
Since you're specifically going for body parts and not food, that sounds really awful. I will let you use fix since you're trying to harvest scrap instead of food.
If you're trying to get building material, fix does make sense. So that's you then, Kang, isn't it? I've got -1 in fix.
Okay, so yeah, I'll, if you want me to, I can roll fix.
Okay, well, we'll get to that. Is everybody else going to do just
Discord has frozen.
They're right there. Oh my god, I think you guys
Okay.
froze for me.
Yes, Discord
Yeah,
keeps freezing now. I found there is a way
Yeah.
that often fixes this. So we'll take a quick break. If we all leave the Discord channel and come back in, that might fix it. We all have to leave and come back.
Alright.
So, Max can use the materials to try to harvest some stuff. Do the rest of you want to forage
Yep.
while he's doing that? Now, here's my other question. It's only going to take Max a few hours. Foraging is either done in a 5-hour block or a 10-hour block. 10 hours is pretty much your whole day, though. But you could potentially find more stuff. If you still wanted to travel and look at one of the locations today, you probably just want to do a 5-hour block.
I think because we are so short on food, I think spending the whole day might actually be valuable.
That's also fine
That
too.
would be the better
but
idea.
You think
That
so?
also means that you're going to be camping out in the open again tonight because you haven't found a suitable place to camp.
I mean, we
like,
can always just search 5 hours and just check the next day.
You could do a 5-hour forage and then go look at one of the locations.
Yeah, do you think we should do that then? Because we might find a safer place to stay tonight if we do that. So spend the first half of the day foraging, second half of the day we'll go look for somewhere to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
So-
do that.
What we're going to do then for foraging is whoever has the highest wisdom survival test. So you're going to roll wisdom and survival. I know that Oliver, you said you were at -1. Emma's at 0. I
But my
think,
wisdom
for
is
survival.
15.
yeah, but my wisdom is 14. I have a +1
So
on
that's
wisdom.
+1. Your wisdom of 15 would only put you at 0, Oliver. So currently Emma's
I was the
the
best.
better.
Okay.
How about
Yeah.
How about you, Brian?
-1 for survival and 0 on wisdom.
Okay. So Emma, you go ahead and make a wisdom survival check.
Alright. What did I roll again?
So if you, on your character sheet, if you click
No.
on wisdom and survival, so
I
that
did.
they're both lit up.
Yeah, I did. I mean, the dice I have to roll.
It should do it for you. So basically, once you have both of those clicked and they're lit up, over on the right-hand side where it says roll, you should just need to hit the roll button. You should be good to go.
I can't because I have to choose a dice. And I do not remember which dice.
You should
D20.
be able to choose a die. Hang on, let me look
Just
at
tell
your
me,
character.
select some dice to start to roll.
I'm gonna-
Okay, so here, on your character sheet, not over on the dice roller, on your character sheet, you want to click on wisdom so that it's lit up. Click on that little hexagon thing.
Alright?
And then you want to go down and click on survival, or survive, so it's lit up. And if both of those are lit up, then on the right-hand side of the screen, the dice roller, it should be ready to roll. You should just hit the roll button.
Alright, that's actually quite clear, but there's still a problem. I am doing what you're telling me to do,
And then
and
you
it
click,
still doesn't give me the ability to roll. Like, let me just send
you click the
screenshot of-
D20. You click the D20 at the bottom. So once you've picked your 2 skills, you click on the D20 and then the roll button should highlight.
Alright, thank you.
Is that right, Brian?
All right, my mistake.
I don't know how to bring the dice rolls back up now that I've moved onto that thing.
I got 10 plus 1.
I like that. There we go.
Okay. So that's not bad, actually. So a total of 11. Oh, I gotta go back to my stuff. I was looking at your character. So you can unclick those abilities now on your sheet. You don't want to have those
Okay.
selected all the time.
Of course.
No, let's stop that. Not you. I'm talking to my own computer here. All right, here we go. So, foraging. We were successful. So now, you're going to roll a d6. So go ahead and hit clear on your roll to clear anything that it's got there.
Yep.
And then click on the d6 and roll that.
With any buffs or just solo?
Just, well, if it's asking to add a buff, you could add. So you add the group's survive skill levels, which is just one. It's 0 because none of you
Yeah.
have. Oh, and we have to subtract 2 actually, so it's 1d6 minus 2 because Charlemagne and Abigail are not trained.
Alright. Do you want me to roll?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh.
Oh my god, it's a -1. It's a -1
It's gonna be.
total.
I think that's going to be a minimum of 1 roll, though, isn't it?
It is a minimum of 1. So as a group, you have successfully found 1 forage unit. Now, you get to choose. A forage unit is either enough scavenged food for 1 person, a day of untreated water, you don't have to worry about water, or a night of firewood if you plan on staying out in the open again, or it can be 1 unit of TL0 or TL1 scrap. I would go for the food personally if I were you, but it's your all's choice.
Yeah, food.
I think food as well, because
Okay.
we're short.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and be nice and say that the food that you find is actually one of you, as you're kind of hunting through the ruins before you head back to where Kang is, you spot a glint of color in the snow in the lee of a ruined building, and you reach out and pick it up and see that it's a can. It's like a tin can that still appears to be sealed. Does not have any obvious bloating or leakage that you can tell, which you have discovered over your years of surviving since the event, that's an indication of even a canned good going bad. And it looks like there's just a little bit left of a scrap of a label on it that looks like maybe the upper part of a tomato or something like that. So you've basically found a can of diced tomatoes. So you have 1 additional unit of food. When you return, Max, go ahead and give me that fix roll now to see how many units you managed to recover from these 2 sources.
Brian, before he rolls that, pause, Max, pause. Right, so I noticed one of my skills I've got now. It's something that helps another party member. I want to know if I can help that party member if I'm not with her. It's called Survivor's Fortune. You may blah 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 blah. I can once per game session as an instant action when something bad happens to you. Oh, so that's to me.
Yeah,
so
it's
I can't.
To you, and it's
I
only
can't
if
get,
something bad happens. Yeah, you can't.
Reroll that one.
It's basically like, no, it's basically like if somebody shoots you, for example, or if you fall into a pit, or things like that.
Yeah, I was just wondering if I could reroll her foraging, but I can't.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not generally for skill rolls.
Yeah, okay.
But it was a good thought. Definitely keep an eye on.
It does say an injury, a failed save, or a botched skill check. It does say skill checks.
So it wasn't a skill check though. That was the roll for how much stuff you found.
Right. Okay, it's not a skill check. You're right. Yeah. That was the amount of things found. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So go ahead. What'd you roll?
13.
13. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and roll a d6 for me and add your fix bonus.
Okay. Give me a second. Let me clear that. 6. And this is a d6, right?
Correct.
Okay. 4.
Okay, so you managed to harvest 4 units of primitive materials, right? So between the skins and some of the longer bones and things like that, maybe even some, without getting too graphic, thing like sinew to make cordage and things like that with.
Okay.
So yeah, you managed to get 4 units. That does take up 4 spaces in your for your maximum, but you now have some stuff that you can craft with. If you get to a point where you want to craft something, you let me know. That does take time. So you've got about 5 hours left by the time the group returns, and you've kind of, I don't know if you do you do anything to hide or cover up or dispose of the offal or anything, Max? Or you just
So
leave
what
it
it is that I know, like with whatever the animals were, I kind of like grab like whatever, like something like like a piece of board or something, kind of
Sure.
smush it to the side and just dump a bunch of trash on them.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so
Hey, maggots are edible. We could just leave that for a couple of days and we've got some more food.
Dead
Well,
flies
you-
still exist, so it's still surviving the cold.
right,
Good
right.
point. Good point.
Yeah, I mean, you might be able to come back at a later date, but the longer the food, the meat is out, it's gonna deteriorate quickly without any kind of preservation. So, even
I mean, it's a fridge.
Technically, yes, but even meat goes bad in a fridge.
Yes.
Oh, I know.
It just takes a little bit longer. All right, so you now have 5 hours left to this day. You do have about 4 rations now between the 4 of you, although Emma or Sophia can use her iron stomach today. So what do you want to do?
So,
Really,
it says on my character sheet 0 food and water. Should I change that to 1?
Well, it depends on who's carrying it, because again, it does have weight. I know that you have 4 rations between you. Who's carrying it is up to you guys.
Well, I'll just carry 1. I think we should just split it evenly in case
That's
somebody
fair.
in case one person loses
Yeah.
their bag and that person's got all the food. That'd be a big problem. I think we
Yeah, that
split it
makes
up
sense.
between us.
Yeah.
So I'll put in that I've got 1 day currently.
Okay.
Does that make the encumbrance 1?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because each unit of food has a weight of 1,
Cool.
or a slot of 1, as it is.
Okay. Yeah, I've added
Now
1 to my.
you can reduce that if you package stuff tighter, but you're not really in a position to do that right now, and you don't have enough of it anyway. So now you all just need to make a decision on what to do next. You have 5 hours left in the day. That's certainly enough time to reach and begin to explore any of the locations on the map.
What one do you want to do first, guys?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Well, it's the option is like this is like Kang is just looking at the map or whatever we have, is that the supermarket's good for like we have food there, but they actually have a butcher shop, so there's a case like if we want to make more stuff, there's tools and stuff we could probably find there. So I'm sure we can find what we need there
If it's not already completely looted. It'd be one of
Yeah,
the
I
first
will
places
remind
people
you
would loot.
not to assume that these locations are gonna have everything.
Oh,
that
no,
you
no,
would
no,
find
no.
in a functioning supermarket.
It's gonna be one of the
Yeah.
first places.
No.
looted.
This is just his brain going through this,
Sure.
and he's just thinking what he knows and stuff like that. Because it's like the tools here's right there, but it's like the church are usually really well built depending in the area. So that's another option we can check out. Because they usually have food pantries. So it's like
Also, we're in a very religious country. I imagine the churches are. They pay a lot of attention to the construction of the churches. It probably is quite a strong building compared to some others. They'll not be built on the cheap, like supermarkets and
And
shopping
usually they
malls
have a
might be.
living area, especially for a priest or something. Now, hopefully they might have a fireplace or at least something to control fire.
Mhm,
That might be something like we can find.
mhm.
You mean where firefighters are?
And also, we don't have to feel so bad about taking over a church if one of us is a priest. That's my home. Any church is my
Yeah.
home. That is my home. I am
Yeah.
welcome there. And if you're with me, you are.
Well, I mean,
Cool.
it's like it'd be sanctified ground for you. It's like, I'm gonna sanctify the ground. There you go. I'm a holy man. But yeah, so that's the rest of the group. Is like he's like he would love to go to auto report place because that's tools and stuff he can get his hands on that can help us fix stuff up. But it's like it's still.
I feel like a good source of tools is just as important as anything. That's a good argument for that first.
Mhm.
And plus is that if it's a solid building like where a lot of mechanic places are with metal doors and we can get it up, at least that'd be a solid place right there. And
Yeah, it might end up being a better place for a base actually. An auto shop.
Yeah.
Might be quite easy to fortify. Might be only be one way in, which would be a metal door.
yeah.
Potentially,
Mhm.
maybe.
Yeah, and plus is that if depending on like the thing is they might have gas tanks, propane tanks, so we can get fire from that too, because some of those are really tough themselves.
Yeah, and tools is a great shout. I think you might be onto a winner actually with checking the auto repair shop first. Anybody else agree?
Yeah, let's do the repair shop.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, while it's on my brain, you can each take currently a point of experience. You can add a point
Ooh,
of experience to your sheets because you
nice.
successfully scouted a hex, and that is one of the things I have set that's going to give you experience. So.
Nobody.
And we
What was
need
that?
X amount of experience to go per level, right?
So, because this game is only going to be until roughly April, I'm using the fast experience track. So, you will hit level 2 once you have 3 points of experience.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's a third of a level.
and-
That's all right.
Yeah.
Does it go exponential after that, like 3, 9, or is it just
So
3,
it's
6?
3, 6, and then it starts to go up. You can
Okay.
see it. The experience chart is actually in the PDF if you wanted to look at it.
Oh, I didn't
in
open the.
advanced
I've not got the PDF open actually. There's a point.
At any rate, so we're going to the auto repair shop, is I think what I heard.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Hey, weapons
So-
out.
From your kind of random location where you are in the Ramos Mejia hex, the scouted hex, it is going to take you a few hours, again, because you spent a few days scouting this hex. And rather than have everything cramped into one hex, that's why I decided a couple of the locations were in adjacent hexes. So, you will get there, but it will be getting on evening, and so you're probably going to want to end up, obviously, camping there or nearby for the evening. I am going to go ahead and do an encounter check, because I forgot to do that for your first slot.
Oh, you should do 2 for this one then.
I'm going to do a second one,
Take the face off.
and you're still okay.
Me.
All right, so as you travel kind of southeast, I'm kind of picturing you guys were probably somewhere central in the Ramos Mejia. Am I saying
Yeah.
that right, Emma? Mejia?
Ramos Mejia, like that.
Yeah. So I imagine you were probably central in that hex. So as you travel to the southeast, again, it is still very frigid. The weather is relatively stable today. It's cold, obviously, but you're not currently walking through sleet or a snowstorm or anything like that, which maybe is welcome. As you walk the streets, you see many of the buildings that were, relatively closely packed. I mean, some of these streets, as Emma explained to us in the first session, weren't really built for cars to travel through. There's a lot of walkways, and a lot of the auto traffic tends to be more focused on very specific roadways as opposed to all the walking paths, not paths, but just walks, like in between. They're not alleys, they're not that type, but they're still not exactly wide enough for 2-lane or more traffic.
But like Amsterdam City Centre.
Yeah. But as you travel into the southeast, you notice that a lot of the buildings appear to have been damaged. You can see signs of burning. You can see signs of portions of buildings actually tumbling down. Some in on themselves, some into the streets, some into each other. And all of you have been alive since the event, so you might even
Mm-hmm.
be reminded of the time when these massive, kind of almost endless, it seemed, lightning storms were raging across the planet. Um, I don't know if any of your characters currently have a background in science, so you might not even understand why. But you recall this time of storms where lightning strikes were happening mere minutes apart for days on end, lighting the cities and forests and anything flammable on fire. And so ash and snow are that's kind of your palette for most of what you've experienced in the past several years. Um, and the reason why you're going to the locations that you are is because those seem to have avoided most of the brunt of the damage from those storms and anything that happened afterwards. Obviously, after 5 or more years without human habitation, without human support, a lot of the structures have begun to just fall in on themselves because they're not meant to be there. Um, you leave any human structure long enough, and before long, it will be gone and replaced by what should be there naturally. Unfortunately, because of the unending winter, it doesn't seem like even Mother Nature is interested in restoring herself anymore. Um, you see vehicles. Some are more intact than others. Some look like maybe they've been in a wreck, perhaps during the event. Um, you see inside some of those vehicles bodies that are mummified, essentially, between the cold air and also in this you will have figured out relatively easily enough because it's kind of common sense even today. But from the increase in UV radiation, there's a reason why when you all travel outside, you have to be covered up and wearing goggles and hoods because if you're outside during the day for any length of time, you will literally burn in minutes, regardless of what your complexion is. Some people like Oliver and I burn in minutes anyway, but other people who used to be able to last for hours without any sun damage, it's no longer the case. So even with maybe your scant understanding of science, you're aware that there's probably no ozone layer anymore. And so the planet is just being bathed in ultraviolet radiation from
This
the
has
sun
nothing to do
during
with
the day.
science. This is God's wrath.
It'd be an interesting thought for Charlemagne. Do
That's
you say that out
shut.
loud to everybody?
No, these are the thoughts going through Charlemagne's head. He's not sure
Yeah,
whether this is science or God just got really pissed off and
right.
decided to end the human race.
And it's not only in the vehicles that you see these mummified remains. It's maybe not even that much of a bother for some of you anymore when you trip over a hump in the snow and look down and you see a body that is, you know, withered, perhaps, leathery, but still pretty much intact because of the state that the planet is currently in.
Looking something like a ghoul in Fallout.
Yeah, except thankfully, maybe not actually moving around.
Yeah.
It is just a
That
body.
would be bad. That'd be bad.
So yeah, after a few hours, you come in sight of the auto repair shop, and it in fact looks relatively intact. The paint is on the exterior is maybe a little bit more faded than you would have expected. Emma, what is a common gas station chain in Buenos Aires?
Honestly, it can be anything really. It can be either Axion, YPF, anything really.
Okay, so we'll just say it's an Axion station that's attached to a fully functioning garage. And you can see, in fact, where one of the vehicle bay's doors is open and the other one is shut. There is a very prominent front entrance that also has a long window that you can see inside. There are some kind of tumbled over shelves and stuff. I mean, this also appeared to be kind of a convenience store, as it were. So yeah, I think I'll just go ahead and throw that up for all of you.
Sweet.
Well, hey, who knows? We might find a little food here. Oh, that's cool.
True.
And improved Twinkies survive.
No. I mean, Kit Kat. Maybe a Kit Kat.
Oh, now that.
Oh, hang on, I've got the wrong token.
I love the
for
OSR
Sophia.
flavour on the map there, man. Superb. Superb. How do you zoom out on the map in this?
So the plus
there's
and
a button
minus
at-
buttons
yeah, there's a
up
button
on
at the top.
Yep.
Does that mean that plus and minus on my keyboard work as well?
I don't know.
One way to find
I
out.
haven't tried that.
No, they
personally.
don't.
Okay, that's sad.
No.
But
So-
then moving the map around is just hold and drag.
Yeah,
Okay.
So I have placed all four of you down by the front entrance. You can obviously enter however you choose to.
By the door.
Since we figured out last time that this type of VTT doesn't have like a pointer or anything, I've decided that I'm just going to use a red push pin to indicate things. You guys can also grab the push pin, I think, and move it around if you want to indicate something to me or to other players.
Ping isn't a
yeah,
location, it just pings.
That's not a
yeah,
location, yeah.
Sadly. Oh,
So
well.
what I will point out to you first is, as I said, one of the... Stop taking the pin from me. One
We
of the
can
vehicle
also draw.
bays is open. So that vehicle bay is open.
Okay.
The doors are right there.
Yeah.
And they look like to be kind of hanging ajar, so you could probably easily get in that way. You could also move around to the back if you wanted to take a look at what's going on before you enter, but again, it looks like it is intact. Not to say that it looks like it's full of stuff. I'm just saying the building is intact.
Okay.
I think it is
Yeah.
perhaps
So
wise
we're
to
not
go
in
round the back
tactical
first.
movement here or anything. You tell me what you want to do and how you want to approach the situation, and we'll go from
I
there.
point to the garage, and it's like we can probably go in there and see if that place is intact well enough that when we can close it, we have a 4 in row walls.
I just walk through the doors.
Oh, you're just
I
going
can go
through
through the doors.
Okay, I was going to go round the back, but...
So you go ahead and put your characters where you want, and I will react to where you have moved them.
Yeah. So was it the left door or the right door that's open?
The one on the left, from the
Okay. So I just
the
right about
orientation
here.
of the
Gonna
map.
turn around, look in, see what I
This
can
one.
see.
Okay.
I'll go with Kang then.
Okay. So, Abigail and Sophia move into kind of the store type area. From where you have placed yourselves, you can see that this place is ransacked. You can certainly take some time to kind of look around and see if you can find anything useful. But you have a hard time thinking that you will. I will point out some stuff to you, though. Obviously, the long, dark things are kind of store shelves. They're not necessarily in that orientation, I will point out, because I'm drawing these maps as if they were existing blueprints from the time. It could be possible that they have tumbled over or broken in half, things like that. I'll tell you if anything important like that occurs. This area here is a what would have been like a cooler unit, right, where drinks would have been stored.
Okay.
And you can see that the long kind of bluish squares in front, those would be the doors that you would open to then take out a cool drink. Obviously, you have a counter and a checkout station over here, and then there's a door leading back into the rest of it. And from where Abigail is, you can also see there's a door to the rear. Looks to be an emergency door, for emergency evacuation of the building and so forth. Now, over to Kang and Charlemagne. From the open door, what you can see is this bay is empty. It does have a kind of lowered area where people would then, and you can see where the stair is, it's more of a ladder where people would descend and be underneath a vehicle so they could do an oil change and things like that. And you do see kind of in the back here some tall racks just full of tires. Just on a quick glance, though, you're not really seeing anything that could be useful. You'd have to do a more thorough search.
I think a large amount of tires can be very useful in a base building kind of situation. You can make a wall out of tires.
You can make shoes. You can make like armor.
Well, that's some
mind,
serious
if they're
crafting.
still
I'm
in
just talking about
decent
piling
condition.
them up.
If they're still in decent condition, rubber can break down.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
keep that in mind.
Rubber breaks down very slowly, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Depends on the
'cause it's-
conditions.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, if
yeah.
anything, this
Years,
it can always.
years of sub-zero freezing temperatures is going to harden and
It'll harden
make the
and
rubber
crack
fragile.
and break. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
But you might be able to get some salvageable from it, sure.
I mean, I think tires could be useful if you're creative enough, because they could be made. You could even in bad condition, they could be used as insulation. I think
Sure.
you could use them as in
Yeah,
the walls
I mean,
as insulation.
Yeah, you could potentially chop them up. You could use them as a slow burning fuel source. You could use them because rubber will burn, and it will burn slowly, particularly in already bad conditions.
Can't cook on that fire though, or get downwind of the smoke.
Well, yeah, I mean that
Yeah,
could be problematic, but yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
If anything,
if you burn plastic or rubber, you're just sending a beacon out to the whole world, because that is going to be some
Yeah.
black smoke.
Black, yep. And on a gray and white landscape, yeah, that's gonna be.
It's
very
going to stick out
noticeable.
like, yeah, you're going to stick out like a spare prick at an orgy.
well, it's like he looks inside. It's like he looks over to Charlemagne. It's like, well, I see the tires over there, but not much else. And he's looking in. There's like there might be some tools, but at least he's looking in there. Hey, there's stuff down there that we can use
We'll go in for
as
a
a
look.
sleep area.
No, we'll go in
Like
for a
right
look.
here, like
I mean, by my count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 doors going to the outside, so it might not be the most defensible spot. I thought it would be we're only going to have 1 or 2. It looks like it's got 4 doors going to the outside, because would it be right in thinking that this is a door to the outside, this is a door to the
Correct.
outside?
Correct.
That, in fact, 5.
yeah, but if we just use the garage and just block off the at least the back way or these sideways and just use the front, or use the sideways doors there or right here as an entryway to get in, we can just keep the front doors locked, the garage down locked, because at least that'd be a frontal area.
I have put a green push pin on the map that you guys can use.
Nice, thank you.
When
Alright,
you're
cool.
indicating things. That
Thank
way I
you.
can just use the red.
So yeah.
All right.
So
So, is Kang moving into the garage?
yes, he has a knife
okay.
out, kind of.
I'll go in
around.
with him, and I've got my shotgun out.
Okay. I'll come back to the two of you.
Okay.
Moving back over to Sophia and Abigail.
I'm going AFK for
Um,
2 seconds, but I can still hear you.
All right.
Are you going to do you want to search the area?
Yeah,
Yeah.
might as well search the area. We
Okay.
might find 1 or 2 pieces of something that wasn't.
There is a lot
Yeah,
of rubbish, obviously. Some of the shelving has fallen over, but it's being relatively
also-
empty, aside from empty packaging and things that look spoiled. It is relatively easy to write them and to move around. But what I am going to do is I want the two of you to show me basically, where you're going to focus your search, and then we'll make some rolls.
We'll do it behind the counter, mostly because Sophia is going to look for flashlights and also lighters. And and usually behind the counter there are some other products, so maybe he finds some food like cookies or something.
Okay, well, we'll move Sophia back behind the counter. Where's Abigail going to be looking?
Probably in there, looking for pretty well anything that could
Okay.
be useful.
So, what I'm going to need first is I need Sophia, having moved behind the counter, to make an evasion check. An
Ooh.
evasion save.
Alright. Alright. Penguino Rodriguez. Where the
So
fuck is
you're just gonna roll it.
evasion?
It's a save. So it should be in the saves section.
It's
I believe
below
I
skills.
have them.
Oh, here it is.
so-
12 and
And so you're just gonna roll a d20 and try to get over that.
Alright.
Good luck.
So I think I fucked up.
Let me see. Okay. So as you move back behind the counter, you step into past it. There's no like barrier, there's no barricade or counter or anything you have to lift up. It's open. But as you move back there, you immediately feel the floor start to kind of waver, and too quickly before you can do anything about it, the floor beneath you gives way and you fall into a hole, a pit essentially. It's only about 1 meter deep, but it's enough for you to potentially hurt yourself. So I'll go ahead and roll the damage.
AKA
for
die
this.
because you're level 1.
So I'm like a 16-year-old in this scenario, so I just start screaming, Abigail! As I fall to my demise.
So you are going to take 4 points of damage here. Now, the way this works in this game is you don't go into negatives. You hit 0. I'm assuming you hit 0. I don't know how many hit points Sophia has.
I have six hit points.
Oh, yeah, then you're
Check
fine.
you
take
out.
4 points of damage. That would have killed Charlemagne.
That would have killed
Well, not
Charlemagne
killed
three times over.
He would have dropped down and been, hurting.
That would have been good.
So yeah, no, you're fine. You're down to 2 hit points, but you're fine. So yeah, you drop into this pit. Maybe you hit your foot wrong and you twist your ankle. Maybe go down on a knee and scrape your knee. And again, it's relatively easy to come back out of this. This is not a pit that was dug for you. This is just deterioration of the building. You have literally fallen through some floorboards into what is essentially the crawl space beneath the building. It's not a basement. It's only 1 meter, right? So it's only a few feet. But it's deep enough that you twisted your ankle.
The foundations of the building she's in.
Yeah, Sophia.
Yeah, essentially.
Sophia is going to start crying. She's going to become a little ball and start crying in pain.
Now,
inside the hole.
You'll still get your opportunity to search after you deal with that, but Abigail, you've heard Sophia call out. However, before you respond to that, I will let Abigail make her search test. Now, since you're actively searching a location rather than just randomly foraging, you're not going to use survival. Instead, you will use... Oh, pardon me. I had Mexican for lunch, so...
Nice.
Notice. Which you're also not great at, but still.
No. So notice.
You have.
So just notice, you can add your wisdom modifier if you have any, but if I recall, you don't. So you're just going to roll a d20 minus 1.
Good luck. Oh. Oh.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Not bad.
Okay. I will go for a 19. Best I can roll.
And I will let you roll a d6. Okay,
Ooh,
nice.
5. Nice.
Nice rolls,
So
Brian.
as you're kind of walking through, you do notice that it looks like some of the packages maybe are not empty, and maybe they're non-perishables. So just as you're about to pick up a box of macaroni and cheese that looks relatively intact,
Mhm.
you hear Sophia scream and call out your name.
Well, I'll quickly grab the food packs I found and then go over.
And yeah,
And
it looks like the floor's given way beneath her, and she's down on her knees. What are you doing?
curl up in a ball, crying.
Are you okay?
Okay.
No.
So back to, well, I guess I can say the gentleman, because we have split up the characters by gender.
The
Um,
boys.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
boys.
gender wars.
So moving into the garage from the position that you're in currently, although Charlemagne wouldn't exactly be there because that is a kind of a walled divider, but assuming you're still on this side of the divider,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can see kind of over into that area, and there is a vehicle actually parked there. It looks to be some kind of a truck.
Ooh.
However, what's maybe a little bit more interesting is I say looks to be because it is completely covered in like a vehicle protective tarp.
Okay.
Well, hey, the tarp is a good, useful item for one thing.
That
That's good to
tarp
have.
is important building material, so we're having that for a start. But yeah, let's
So,
investigate the truck. See
Yeah,
what's
so
left
I,
of it.
I look at Charlemagne and kind of give him a look. So if you want to go to the right side of the truck, look around, like give the look around. He's gonna pull it from the left side. Watch around him as he's pulling it over.
So this is actually going to take a little bit more work than that because the tarp is not just draped over the truck. It is completely sealing the truck. You're going to have to get beneath it. You're going to have to undo some buckles and some fasteners.
Okay.
You're going to have to do the same from around the wheel wells. This truck looks to have been essentially, for lack of a better term, parked and set up in a way to where it could be preserved. And so as you take the time to remove this covering, you do begin to notice that, yeah, this thing looks like it's in really good condition.
Shit.
It is, whatever model you think is appropriate. It's not a monster, but it's not like an American truck that shouldn't be on the road because it's bigger than it ever needs to be, and nobody even uses it to haul
It's a
anything.
normal sized truck. Yeah.
But it's a normal sized pickup truck.
Pick up.
I will say it is white. It does have the branding of a local company on it, and it looks to be for an oil refinery.
Can we say it's a Toyota Hilux?
So, what's that?
A Toyota Hilux.
Okay, sure.
Because they're indestructible.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, so it looks to be branded for a particular company. There's the logo emblazoned on both of the driver's side and the passenger side door. The truck bed is empty. The tires look to be in relatively decent condition.
Huh. This is a lot better than I thought, Kang. I thought first we were going to be like stripping out the battery or like the spark plugs and just like elements of it that might be usable. Looks like we might actually have a proper vehicle here. Let's be very careful.
Yeah, it's
as we
like, hey,
unpack this.
yeah, he said, hey, look at check in the inside of the truck and see what you can find. I'm gonna see if I can find any tools because there might be a toolbox or something around.
So I'll continue unbuckling.
As with the other side, this side of the vehicle bays, the back wall is just racks of tires. Again, you don't really know the condition of them. There are some larger diagnostic equipment pieces here that you might be able to scavenge some materials from. But
Okay.
one of the conceits for this game that you have to understand is that unless I'm specifically like saying that a thing is there, like the racks of tires, the truck. I'll go ahead and give you the tarp too, since I described it, but that can certainly be used for different things. Generally, you're not going to go into a location and say, I'm specifically going to this auto repair shop to find a toolbox, right? You have to roll to see if there's anything there, right? Nothing,
Okay.
almost nothing is given for free. So if you
Oh
want
no,
to
no, I wasn't
search,
playing it.
yeah, no, yeah, I know. I'm
This-
just trying to make you aware and everybody who's watching aware. It's not like you have a full inventory of what's in this auto repair shop, right? Because again, it's the end of the world. Things have been ransacked. You know,
I
whatever.
think we've lucked out finding
But-
this truck though.
Yeah,
I
he was
mean-
just trying to find anything, like a
Or-
screwdriver or a hammer or something that he
Sure.
can use.
Or I've just made you a target, right? It could be one or the other. It depends on
Yeah,
what you do with it.
yeah.
Well, the truck is good
Um,
where it is. We don't have gasoline. We don't know if it does.
So, at any rate, if you want to search the area, you can do so with a notice check.
So while he does
Okay.
that, I'm going to check things like, does it have fuel? Does it have battery? Is there air in the tires? All these things.
Okay. Do you have some skill with vehicles to check these things out? Like, do you have drive?
I don't think so.
Well, you, I'm still going to count it as drive because this is a good example too. So drive, in addition to being the skill that you
minus
roll
one.
when you're actually driving, drive also kind of counts as a knowledge about
Vehicles.
driving vehicles, right?
Yeah.
So you would make a drive check to kind of do a once over on this vehicle to see if it has any issues.
Okay. So that's, do I just press the drive button or do I use a stat as well? wisdom and
you can
drive?
use no, this would be more intelligence.
Okay, so intelligence, I've got a 0. And then drive. So that makes me a...
Oh, and keep in mind,
-1.
boy, did I just make a mistake. Oh man, my brain is in D20 zone. So we've already made a mistake in rolling a D20 for skill checks.
oh,
That's
is it
not what
a
you do in
D20?
this game.
No?
You roll 2d6. So when you click on the drive skill
Mm-hmm.
and you click on your intelligence, or don't because it's 0 anyway,
Yep.
it should on the dice side automatically populate 2d6 for you. Is it not doing that? when you
It
click
doesn't
on the drive
show me
tab?
what dice it's giving.
It doesn't show you above where it
If,
says
well,
roll?
if I just press confirm, nah, because you have to pick dice. It says add to roll, and you've got to pick
Hang on,
dice.
I'm gonna go to
Yeah.
your character to check this out. So
It says select some dice to start your
Drive.
roll. So I clicked on drive, and I've clicked on intelligence. Intelligence is a 0, drive's a -1. So I've got -1 showing here.
why is okay? Oh, so it's just
So-
counting that as a buff. I see.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I-
you need to click 2d6.
So I just
in
add
addition
2d6.
to clicking drive.
Right,
and-
okay.
Yeah. You just click the d6 button twice.
Do I
yeah.
want high or low?
You do want high.
Well, what a shitty roll that
Uh,
was then.
Yeah, it was. So, from what you can see, the truck looks like it's intact. Now, I will tell you, even with that kind of bad roll,
That's a skill check, though.
you don't have the key, so you
I
didn't
can
try
adjust
to
that roll.
start it, right? Can you what now?
I can adjust that roll. That's a skill
Oh.
check.
It is a failed skill check. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could adjust. If you want to use that ability on that, how often can you use that ability?
Once per day, I think. Let me just double check.
Well, yeah, and you guys are probably going to camp here. So.
Once per game session. Once per game session.
Oh, that's once per session. So that's your call.
I think that. Yeah, I think that getting a better check on this truck might be a good use of that skill. So,
So before you make that decision, let me tell you that your failure doesn't mean that you do anything bad to the truck.
mhm,
It doesn't change the condition of the truck.
mhm.
All it means is there are a couple of things you're not going to be able to know for sure.
Right, it says so I get to on a botched skill check, test your luck and roll 1d6. On a 1, it's unaffected. On a 2 to 5, you somehow avert the consequences by blind chance, and on a 6,
Right.
it actually lands on an enemy or rival of the GM's choice, if that's
And
possible.
see,
So
that's
that
the
would be
thing.
ignored.
There's no consequences here for you failing this check. So I would almost encourage you not to use that ability.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take
Like,
the Dungeon Master, the Games Master's wisdom on that then.
That ability is going to be most useful for you when you're rolling like against somebody, like you're in a
fight or something.
You're in a fight, or you're trying to influence someone with charisma, or things like that. When there's no consequences for a roll, you just don't learn anything. It's not the best use of that ability, I think.
And this would depend on the system, so tell me if it does or doesn't. On a failed roll like that, but when there's no time constraint or no pressure, does that mean I could just try again?
You could, or more often, what I encourage people to do is change the circumstances, right? So, for example, with the truck, you don't have a key. If you find a key, you might be able to do some more testing on this thing. I will say, though, that even with your failed check, right? Because a failed check is not always going to mean you don't know anything. It just means you don't get everything, right? So even with your failed check, let's use that, and I will tell you that you don't find a key, right? Maybe you check under the visor or check under the seat. You don't find a key. You can't tell if there's any gas in it. You like knock the side of the you don't know how to check to see if there's gas in a vehicle. You do figure out how to pop the hood, and so you open up the hood on the truck, and you don't know a lot about cars, but you think that there's no battery. You're pretty sure it's missing a battery.
Okay.
Why it's missing a battery, you don't know. You know who might know? Somebody who knows more about fixing stuff. So anyway.
I'm gonna call the Kang. I think maybe the battery's missing in this. Go and have a look, will you?
Yes. Is it okay if I roll my notes real quick as he's doing that one?
Make
And just kind of rummaging a little bit to see what we can find.
It over and make your notice roll, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let me do that. I think I have it set up.
But
So it's gonna be
it's 2d6.
All right.
Plus,
so
plus notice plus wisdom.
Got notice is 0 and wisdom is a 1, so that's still not bad.
Yeah, it's +1. That's good.
Yeah, you're at least trained in notice.
Ooh, I love it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's
nice
good.
roll. Nice roll.
So, roll a d6 for me.
Okay, let me clear that out so I don't. And there's not bonus on anything. It's just a straight.
No
D6.
bonus on this, just straight d6.
Okay. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Ooh, a 5.
Come on.
Okay. So as you're looking around, you feel fairly certain that with a little bit of work, maybe you don't do it this instant, but with a little bit of work, you're going to be able to salvage 5 units of either, it's going to be your choice, tech level 2 or tech level 3 materials. Now, why you would choose one over the other? Tech level, or I'm sorry, not tech level 2, 3. 3 is way too high.
1 and
3
2
is like near future, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it is.
Just-
it's like 3 or higher is like you get phaser guns and
3 or higher,
kind
like
of stuff.
No, that's
carbon fiber
that's
and
definitely
pistons.
4.
Yeah.
Let me double check the tech levels here because I don't want to short you.
I think even the 2 would be pretty decent.
If wood and bone and
here we
skin
are.
is
Okay.
1,
Oh,
I'd imagine metal being 2.
3 is modern. 3 is modern day. So
Okay.
the reason why you would pick tech level 2 or tech level 3 is that tech level is important when you're crafting and repairing things. If you want to repair something that is tech level 3, you need tech level 3 parts. If you want to repair something that's tech level 2, you need tech level 2 parts. And it's not backwards compatible, right? So you can't use tech level 3 for tech level 2.
Yeah, got you.
Okay.
It's got to be the same level. Now, this is a modern garage, so you could easily harvest tech level 3 parts here, which would be used to repair modern conveniences. Tech level 2, just as a reminder, is things like steam power, but it is also like kind of handmade crafted guns in Victorian tech. So, like 1800s industrial revolution type stuff.
Okay.
Tech level 1 is medieval to Renaissance. Tech level 0 is Neolithic, like stone tools.
Wood stone.
So the stuff
Hey,
that
man.
you grabbed from the dogs, that's tech level 0.
Okay.
And it goes up from there. So, but you can think about that for a second. Let me go back to Abigail and Sophia real quick.
Oh, absolutely.
So, what are you two doing? Do you have any other ideas or?
Well, I'm definitely going to help her out of the hole.
Okay. So you can see that she limps a little bit on one of her feet as you help her out of the hole. And the hole, now that you can see it, now that it's very obvious where it is, neither of you are going to have any difficulty navigating it, right? Like I said, it's not terribly deep. It's only a meter. You might need to like sit on your butt to drop down into it if you don't want to twist your ankle, but it's not something you need rope to navigate.
Yeah.
So what do you do now?
We could first check the hole, or if you prefer, we can check what's on the I forgot the word.
Shelves.
The desk. Yeah, on the shelves, like on the shelves over here behind the desk, before going
Yeah.
into the hole.
Well, let's
Sure.
check around the counter here first.
The count.
Okay. So Sophia can go ahead. Abigail already got one, but now that you're out of the hole, Sophia can go ahead and make her notice check.
Yep. Is it on skills?
So you would use notice and wisdom, and keep in mind you have to click on 2 of the d6s. It's not a d20 for skills; it's d6s, 2d6.
Where is notice?
Notice is under skills.
Skills are after stats, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm just looking. Here it is. So you got a +1.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. So, and what's your wisdom?
+1.
So yeah,
I have
you're
a
gonna
0
roll.
notice.
Just like me.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So yeah, you're gonna roll 2d6 plus 1 then total.
A 5.
5. 5.
Okay. So you look around, you know, you can see where maybe the lighters would have been and things like that, but you pick up a few of them and you definitely tell that they're empty. They've dried up a long time ago. None of these things are high quality enough to have been able to maintain, you know, fuel which can evaporate over that period of time. So unfortunately, you don't find anything useful behind the counter. Now, as I said, there is a door there. Abigail, I'm sure, probably heads back out into the shelves to grab the other bits of food that you noticed. And I will say for Abigail, it is food. Sometimes I'll give you a
Okay.
choice of like you find food or scrap, but since you're in the kind of convenience store aisle, it's all food. So you basically find 5 units of non-perishable food,
Good.
which is
find.
helpful for you guys.
Yeah,
right?
it's more than a day for us.
Uh-huh.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
Now, because I see Oliver writing some notes down, which is a good idea.
Always.
I will also tell you guys that if you find it helpful, I have added to the table a journal that you have access to. So it should be under your sheets as AWN after the end journal. And that is something you can go into. You can hit add, and then you can give a title and put in some notes if you want to for things. Or you can keep your notes in your own like hard copy. I don't care. I just thought I'd offer that for you.
Sorry, where do I find the
Um,
journal, Brian?
So if you click on the button that gives you access to the character sheets you have access to,
Yeah.
you should be able to see your 4 characters and something called AWN after the end journal.
I see it
Do you
now.
not see that?
I see it now,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, that's nice.
Handy, very
Great.
handy. But yeah, I always write down notes anyway.
Yeah. Now, you might not want to use that journal because I set that up a couple of weeks ago. And now that I've picked up Foundry and I'm trying to get us set up in Foundry, we
Ooh.
won't be here, hopefully
time,
in 4
yeah.
weeks.
No, I mean it's still like that's interesting. I just say I'm amazed is that you get to use this in Foundry. I'll love to see how it's gonna be worked there.
Oh, the journal in
Um,
Foundry is very intuitive. It's very good.
Yeah.
It's all
yeah.
hyperlinks and
And
stuff.
of course I'll set up a group journal for you in Foundry as well. So, but I'm not going to promise anything. I know it's 4 weeks away. I'm still learning in Foundry, so I don't know if I'm going to have the system set up to the point where I feel it's good enough yet.
I understand it's quite a steep learning curve, Foundry, from what I hear.
Making your own stuff, yeah, it's not simple. Let's put it that way.
I know the
have
other
gotten
Brian
it
has
to the
done
point
some
though
stuff
where I
before.
can do skill rolls. So, and you don't. All you have to do is hit a little button that says roll, and
Nice.
it rolls the skill dice
Nice.
for you
Yeah.
automatically. So, anyway, okay. So Abigail grabs her foodstuffs. Are you guys being careful from now on, or are you because
Yeah.
you've fallen through the
Yes.
floor? Or okay, that's good.
No, because I have a limp. Because I have a limp, I'm like, oh, ouch.
Definitely moving
ouch.
slower. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think you said something about checking out the hole.
No, you mentioned it, but I will check the hole.
Okay. Well, I thought I had heard you say that, but just to cut that in the nip that in the bud. As I said, it's basically just a crawl space, right? So you kind of kneel down gingerly so as not to hurt your ankle again, and look around, and yeah, you can see that there is some distance that it goes underneath the building, but it's all just dirt, maybe some trash and detritus that had gotten down there somehow, maybe from an exterior,
Or leftover
blowing in from
leftover
underneath.
building materials, like empty concrete bags and
Yeah,
stuff.
maybe
probably.
something like that, but you don't see anything that looks useful. Now, if you wanted to search it thoroughly, you're basically going to have to get down on your stomach and crawl around down there.
Why are you all laughing?
It's because it's all fun and games until there's a rat there in your face and you can't move fast enough to get away
the
from it.
mutant rat, size of a chihuahua.
Okay,
That's a normal
So-
rat.
Yeah.
I know
Right.
that's a joke.
Oh, yeah, that's
you're-
just a rat.
I'll let you chew on whether or not you want to bother doing that, and we'll go back to Abigail. Is there anything else you want to look at this area, or anything you want to do before I go back to the gentleman?
Well, I checked out over there. These rooms back here,
Uh-huh.
are they like washrooms?
They are. So you head over to there, you open one of the doors, it's very clearly a bathroom. So there is that particular one that you open that you have the pin in, clearly the men's room. Maybe the sign has fallen off of the door itself, but there is a urinal attached to the wall. There is a kind of maybe slightly too low and also somehow at the same time slightly too high partition, and no door, and a toilet. And then of course there is a wash basin, some kind of paper towel thing on the wall. No paper towels.
I was just going to ask that.
Also no toilet paper.
Not
so-
a female-friendly bathroom, anyway.
Okay, then we'll check out the female one, assuming that's what it is.
I doubt you're going to
Okay,
find a female
so-
bathroom in a mechanic shop.
No, you do.
Yeah.
It's again, it's also a convenience store.
Oh, right, yeah. So it is, yeah,
so-
yeah.
So yeah, going into this bathroom, it's much in the same state. However, as you look around, it does seem like there was a dispenser on the wall
Okay.
for feminine goods, as it were.
Mhm.
And that dispenser has fallen or been knocked off of the wall, and there are still some feminine products on the floor, sealed in packages, I would say it's probably enough to have some decent like fabric and plastic scrap. So I'm going to give you 1 unit of type 3 scrap for those kind of leftovers, should you choose to collect it.
Yeah, might as well.
Because interestingly enough, you can use Fatman products for some interesting things.
Yeah.
Let's leave it
Yeah,
at
you
that.
can.
No,
you can use
seriously,
for
like,
gunshot wounds.
I know.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Excellent for a gunshot wound, a
Yeah.
tampon, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, like you just put
Navy
it on
SEALs use
and
them to
it
plug
soaks
their
the blood.
guns when they're
Yep.
in water.
Oh, do they?
Except the tampon.
Yeah, Navy SEALs use a tampon shoved into the barrel with a condom wrapped around the outside of the barrel
Here you
to
go,
keep
eh?
their guns clean. Yeah. So I've heard
pads or
anyway. I'm
tampons?
not a Navy SEAL. So what's
Yeah.
that?
Are
You
these?
can actually put a tampon into a gunshot wound, and it will seal the wound.
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Ah,
it'll
yeah.
seal it.
It's designed to just swell up with blood.
It'll soak up the blood and clot. Yeah.
It's designed to soak
So
up
anyway,
blood.
what was your question, Emma?
What Abigail found, was it a tampon or a pad?
It's a collection of both. Again, you don't have to
All
track
right.
specifically. It's just some type 3 like fabric and plastic strap. It's
Yeah, so it is
All right.
survival. We're gonna track food and water, but I don't think we're gonna actually have to track. We're not going that in depth with the survival that we're gonna have to track
Not
the feminine
with the scrap,
hygiene
no.
products.
No.
No, it's. I'll put it this way: it's not unless it's something you can use by itself for some purpose. It's just scrap, and that's what most things are going to be. Just like with food, although I might describe food in a particular way when you pick it up, like a box of macaroni and cheese, it's still just food, right? You guys don't have to write down, I have 2 boxes of macaroni and cheese.
Yeah,
No,
I just
but
wrote down I have found 5 units of food.
5 units of food, right. Now,
Yeah.
the only thing you might want to add to that is that it's non-perishable, because that's important. Non-perishable versus
canned
perishable
foods.
food. Because perishable food will go bad within a few days, sometimes less. Non-perishable, you can just hang on to until you use it. Like, for example, if anybody had wanted to get meat from the dogs, that would be perishable. And so you would want to consume that first before you consume any non-perishable food so that it doesn't spoil on you. But also, I understand people not wanting to eat that. I'm not saying you should have. I'm just saying that's as an example. Although you can hunt other things if you choose to. All right, and you might get to a point where you want to. So you've checked the bathrooms. That is, in fact, what they were. Sophia, are you going to crawl under, or are you just going to get out and check someplace else?
I'm getting out. I'm not getting a chihuahua on my face.
Okay. So, what else do you want to do? There's still this, where's my indicator? There's still this door right here.
Careful.
I will go through the door and see
it's
what's
locked.
inside. Can I kick the door open?
Can you kick it open? Yeah. Tell you what, why don't you give me... We have an athletic skill, don't we?
I have
No,
it could
not
be-
athletic.
It could be simpler than that. Strength. You just roll on strength.
Or
Yeah.
what about exert? Is exert the
Oh,
same?
it's
or-
exert.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, that's
Max.
what I was wondering if it was
is
exert.
exert.
-1. I have a -1 on exert. Do not give him that idea.
No, it is exert. But also,
got a
you do
-1
get to
on
add
most
your
things.
strength if you have a strength bonus.
A 0.
Okay, and it's still just a 2d6 roll. So keep in mind, 2d6 doesn't seem like a lot, but 2d6 instead of d20 for skill rolls is actually better because it's an even distribution. You actually have a better chance of succeeding with 2d6. Don't pay attention to your previous rolls. You have a better chance of succeeding with a 2d6 than a d20.
Unless
Alright, then.
I'm rolling it.
Let's go gambling.
So 2d6 -1, 2. Yeah, okay. So you kick the door, hopefully with your uninjured foot, or no, you know
Yeah.
what? I'm going to say this is why you failed. You forgot that you just twisted your ankle. So you kick the door with your twisted ankle. And you're like,
Ooh.
and it hurts.
Ow.
It doesn't do It doesn't do any additional hit point damage. It's just, but that's maybe why you couldn't put enough force into it, because man, why did I use that foot?
Quick reminder that I have a +3 intelligence, so this makes no sense, but okay.
You have what?
Dumb, apparently. I have an 18 intelligence. I'm like a little bit smart to not do
Yeah,
that.
but you just got hurt. You just got
Anyone
hurt.
can have a dumb moment.
True.
Yeah, I mean, you get all that pain right there, and you're kind of like, boom.
Yeah.
Ah. I've done that before. It's fun. Mm-hmm.
So, at that point, though, I think it's a good thing to switch back to the garage. So, as the two of you, maybe Kang is about to look over the truck, I believe, is where we were. As you're about to look over the truck, you hear kind of a bang coming from down this hallway here.
I look at
More of a
Charlemagne
thud than a bang.
Yeah, I heard that Charlemagne. All right, and by the way, I'm gonna do T3 for the item because I'm putting it in the bed of the truck. So all the stuff I found.
Well, I mean, you haven't done it yet. That'll take some time once you all settle down.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just going to put it all.
Okay.
Yeah, even though it's not backwards compatible, I think we should always take the best stuff because it'll be rarest. So when you get the opportunity to take a higher tier, I think always take the higher tier because it'll be rarer.
Yeah, it's kind of a smart move.
Yeah, I think so. Even if it's a while before we can use it, I think it's always
Right.
take the higher tier if you get the chance.
Yeah.
Okay. So you hear this bang.
So when we hear the bang, I'll say to Kang, Kang, you keep checking this truck. I'll go check on the girls.
All right. He's gonna look over the engine and all that fun stuff.
Give me a fix intelligence roll for Kang while Charlemagne heads over to the door. So as Charlemagne heads in that direction, I will point out that there is what appears to be a mirror right there, a large mirror. And, you're smart enough to know, oh, well, that's probably like a two-way kind of, or a one-way window, right? So you're guessing there's probably some kind of office on the other side of that window. It is intact, because it hasn't been subjected to the weather, thankfully, because this door is closed. But as you approach the door, it's, a standard door. You give it a go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, check it's open.
Yeah, it's unlocked.
Yeah, I'll open it up and...
Okay, and you see the hallway?
Okay, and I'll call through everything all right. We heard a noise. Are you both okay?
So you hear from the other side of the door. Yeah.
Swearing.
Yeah, this place isn't soundproof. You can definitely hear each other now if Charlemagne goes into the hallway.
Something on my character sheet that's worth noting. Oh, let's go up here somewhere. I have healer. Healing comes natural to you and are particularly gifted at blah 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 blah. Level 1 gain. Heal is a bonus skill. You may attempt to stabilize one mortally wounded person. Alright, so that's for stabilizing people.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So I was just thinking if I seeing that, I could still, the healing is just a proficiency check, just a skill check. I can attempt to like find her wounds, like maybe put a splint on the ankle or something.
Yeah, so generally with healing and rest, basically the way it goes down is...
I have a +1 on heal, so...
Injury healing system strength. So natural healing in this game is very similar if you're familiar with any of the other kind of old style games, to where you're going to recover your character level or hit dice, character level in your case, in hit points each morning. However, there is first aid, so you can spend a few minutes tending to an ally with basic bandages and tools, which I don't know that you have yet. So if you can find like a medical kit or something like that.
I was just thinking of getting like one solid thing and a solid thing, like 2 pieces of wood or 2 pieces of metal, putting them either side of her ankle, and then wrapping something around it just to keep her ankle straight. A makeshift splint.
So you do have, or rather Max has, some tech level 0 Neolithic kind of primitive
bone
scrap that can be used to do so. or you
Oh,
can
well,
see if you can find a medical kit.
Yeah, we're not
well, I
grafting
say I
dog
got that
bone
there.
into a
It's in
leg.
my back. He just has it sit like he sits it down right next to him, and he's just
Well, yeah,
looking over
that's
the engine.
so basically I'm giving you a choice. You can either use 1 unit of the tech level 0 scrap that you guys have as a
Mhm.
group, or you can see if you can find a first aid kit or a medical kit.
Well, there's a strong chance there might be a first aid kit in an auto shop. I'm going to
Okay,
search.
so you want to just keep searching
Yeah,
a little
but
bit
Yeah, I'll
longer?
search.
Okay.
Once,
So,
Yeah,
in
right.
fact,
once I've spoke to Sophia and see that she's not mortally wounded, and it is just a sprained ankle, then I will start having a look around.
so you guys are talking through a door though right now.
Gonna-
Yeah, so I guess I'm going to go through and see her first.
Okay, yeah, so
and
you can open
have
the
a look
door
at
from
wound.
this side. You just unlatch it, open it up.
He's like,
So
hey,
yeah, you do have a couple more rooms to check out if you want to. So I don't know if you picked up on this, but there's basically 2 levels of searching a location. Okay, one level is I want to do a notice check and just kind of do a general search, which everybody except for Charlemagne has done so far. So Charlemagne still has a general search to find some stuff. But then the second level is actually checking rooms, and like with the washroom, for example,
Like lifting
because
things up and
sometimes a
fully
room will
searching.
have sometimes a room will have something useful in it that doesn't
Okay.
require a notice check. As long as you're telling me I'm looking in here, I'm gonna look at this, and so forth.
Well, I'm going to speak to Sophia first, and I'm going to say, you've sprained your ankle. It'll be okay. Tell you what, if you rest here for a minute, I'm going to look and see if I can find something to make you a splint with. Keep your weight off it for now. I'll see if I can do anything. I'll see if I can help, because I'm a skilled healer.
Okay. I believe in you.
And then I would like to do so. I guess my general check that I've not done, but also a more specific checking every nook and cranny to try and find the remains of any kind of first aid kit.
Well, the specific check is more like, are you going to check out any of those rooms?
The office
Because
is
like
more
if you
likely.
explore the place, you're going to have a better chance of finding specific things rather than just saying I'm going to do a general search check.
Yeah, I'll fully explore the place then. Starting
Okay,
with the
so
office.
where are you
That's
going?
the office first. That's my best, which is back here, right?
Yep,
Oh, wrong token.
in there.
Sorry. So yeah, I'm gonna search the office first.
No,
That's the most
so
likely place for a first aid kit.
if you go there first, when you open that door and it is unlocked, what you find in this room is it actually looks more like a locker room. There
Oh.
are lockers along one side. The other side has kind of a small counter. It looks like what used to be a microwave, although it appears to have been burned out because the door is hanging open and the inside of it is completely blackened. There also looks to be some kind of a low kind of like drinks refrigerator underneath the counter, and a sink. So that's what's in this room, unless you look at anything more specifically.
Yeah, I'll look in the lockers. I'll look in the sink. I'll look under the
Okay.
sink if there's a cabinet under it.
Okay, so as you go through the lockers, you find a lot of just deteriorating stuff. Nothing useful. Anything you, in fact, reach out to grab just kind of falls apart in your hands. Things have rotted or just kind of, general disarray. However, you did mention looking under the sink. So, although the refrigerator and the microwave appear to be out of commission, as you open up the door under the sink, you do see, actually still wrapped in cellophane, a kind of store-bought first aid, like medical kit.
Oh, excellent.
The kind of medical kit that would have bandages and sutures, and it wouldn't have a splint, but I'm going to let you go ahead and use it anyway because it's a medical kit. It's a useful item. And because it's wrapped in cellophane, it's still in perfect condition. So you see that. Opening up the rest of the cabinets, though, and the refrigerator and the microwave, in fact, when you open the refrigerator, you instantly close it because it is just You don't know what's in there, but it's nothing good by
Somebody's
the smell.
tuna sandwich from 5 years ago.
Right.
It starts moving.
Yeah, it starts
Oh.
crawling at me. Yeah,
coming
It
at
actually is high.
it's grown legs. Woo.
You see an eye blink, blink.
Yeah, no, I'll
Okay.
probably even just have a tiny
So-
little peek in the fridge and then go.
So you've done that. I'm gonna jump back to Max. Max, you give a once over on the truck.
I
Is
got
that
rolled
what
a
that roll
7.
was?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a 7.
Yeah, I was just making sure that's
Nice.
what it was. So
Mhm.
going over the truck, it looks like the battery has been removed
Mhm.
correctly. It's not like it's been ripped out or anything. Your best guess is that although if there's any fuel in this truck, it's probably gone bad by now. You need
Oh,
to
yeah.
find fuel. Because fuel does have a shelf life, believe it or not.
Mhm.
But the unless it's stored in a very specific way, which you've seen nothing of the case here. But if the battery, you need to find a battery for it, and a battery needs to be stored properly as well to still be viable after 5 years. Other than that, though,
Oh,
the
yeah.
truck looks fine. If you find some fuel for it and you find a battery, this thing will run. You're fairly certain.
Yeah, and so it's just a regular 2-seater, right? Like a 2-seater pickup truck.
Yeah, it's just a 2-seater. Maybe
Okay.
there's enough space behind the bench. It's a bench seat. Maybe there's enough
Okay.
space back there to store a few things, but not a lot. It's a
But there's
2-seater.
enough space because it's an.
Well,
it's,
you
it's an
could
open.
fit 3 in the cab. It's
Yeah,
a bunch.
Yeah,
But-
his mind is just looking at it. He see how he can put something in the back, like like a back bed or something. He's just trying to figure out
Yeah,
stuff. It's
maybe.
like,
We've got that tarp, couple of poles up the sides, tarp across it. You've got you've got a moving shelter if we find a battery.
I mean, it'd be tight, but the 4 of you could definitely lay down in the bed for sure. The truck bed
What?
specifically is what I'm referring to.
The back of the truck.
The back of the truck.
Question. So when I
yeah.
was looking in the lockers and I was finding the materials, what I found is called, in English, it's called a boiler suit. Remind me what the American word for a boiler suit is.
A boiler suit?
Yeah, like a mechanic wears. It's like a one-piece
oh,
thing.
it's a jumpsuit. It was
Jump-
just called
Oh,
a
a
jumpsuit.
Did you say jumpsuit? I knew there was
Uh,
a different word. I thought it was more specific than
So-
jumpsuit.
Yeah, it looks like a couple of them might have been that, but it looks like there might have been a few sets of street clothes in there too.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
this definitely is like some kind of like employee like changing room, break room type deal.
Well, hey, just metal lockers could still be useful.
Could something like a metal locker be taken apart for scrap?
You would have to give me a roll to do so, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Okay, it's
like,
not my priority.
Here's the thing. I get where your mind is going, but I don't want to go overboard with you guys, because one of the things that the game makes very clear is that playing in a modern setting, since we all live in a modern world, we're all going to have this urge to like, oh, well, I can tear that down for scrap, and I can tear this down for scrap, and I can have so much scrap. And like, realistically, yeah, you probably could, but for the gamist aspect of it, the understanding is you're not going to spend all your time doing that, right? Like, you're going to grab things that are kind of immediately available, and that's where those skill checks come into play. Things that you can either break down very quickly, or things that you know that you want to use immediately. So it is kind of limited by skill rolls and what you find. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, you could probably spend days scrapping this whole building, but that would really kind of unbalance things.
Oh no, that's fine. I just a quick question is that is this if where he's at is the lockers like basically against like bolted against the wall, or can it be moved? Like maybe we can use it as a barricade if we needed to.
So that's kind of the thought process I think is interesting, is that I'm actually cool with, right? Like using the lockers as a barricade makes a lot more sense. But if you wanted to break down the lockers into enough metal scrap that you could use to build something else,
that's going to be very time consuming. Yeah.
What's that?
No, I was more the doors. I was just not the whole thing. It was just the doors.
A long time.
Yeah.
But yes, you could potentially, a couple of you working together, could maneuver those lockers out of that room and possibly use them to set up a barricade against one of the other doors, for sure.
Okay.
Just like Oliver said with the tires, right? Like if the tires are decent enough, especially if you could find potentially some bags of concrete and fill up the tires with the concrete, you could make so many barriers with the tires in there.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, this place is looking like you could potentially kind of basify it if you wanted to.
Okay.
But that's something that would take time, and we would, spend. You probably want to find more people before you start doing that. But as just an
Oh,
area to camp, this is also pretty nice because at least the doors are still up. There's no gaping holes in any of the walls. You could probably set a fire in one of these rooms, maybe in the convenience store area, and actually heat it fairly well with a fire. And there's definitely enough wood from the shelves in the convenience store area for you to be able to. It takes some work because you don't have an axe, but by hand kind of breaking things into chunks, you'd be able to have enough fuel for several nights of a fire.
Maybe not long term, but short term, I think it might be a good place to rest.
Could be, yeah, certainly
yeah.
for tonight, right? Because
Mhm.
it is
It's
getting
a
on
roof.
in the evening by
It's
the
a
time we
roof.
got here.
It's 4
Yeah.
walls and a roof. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
the
good.
roof is solid. Like there are no holes in the roof, which is definitely a
Okay.
positive.
Nice.
Okay, so you're checking out that area. Is anybody else doing anything?
Can I check the door of the garage, the one that's open? Is it ice over where it can't shut, or can I shut it?
It is iced over.
Okay.
But if you give me a fix check, you may be able to get it working.
Okay.
What are Abigail and Sophie doing?
Flying in pain.
Still her. I mean, you're at positive hit points. Like you can move around. You're okay.
Oh,
You
no,
can
I'm just
certainly
joking
cry in
around.
pain,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah.
No, no, no. I'm just joking around because I honestly don't know what to do. Because I feel like we already saw a lot of the place, and as you said, we already like made of rolls of notice. So I'm
Sure, yeah.
thinking what else we could do.
Well,
I had
there are still two rooms you haven't checked out yet. This one and this one. And I think Abigail's gone into the freezer area to check that
Yeah,
out,
I'm
or the
going to check
cooler
that
area.
out.
yeah. I'm going to check the room right next to our friend here. So this one next to Charlemagne. I will check this room.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and move your token in there, and we'll do you and Abigail. So Sophia, when you open up that door, um, there is a smell coming out of this room, and it's definitely not pleasant. However, it's not super concentrated, um, but you definitely detect there has been some spoiled foods that have gone bad in this room.
Okay.
Um, Nothing, and as you're just kind of quickly looking around, because this room has shelving in it, um, floor to ceiling, several rows, to the point where it's kind of cramped for you to move in between them, but you can. This is clearly a storeroom for the convenience store. And so there is very clearly kind of one section of the shelves that are would have been perishable items. You see a basket that may once have contained fruit that maybe they had shipped in and that they were selling from the convenience storefront. However, if you go ahead and roll a d6 for me,
Okay.
That's the D6.
just a d6,
No buffs, no anything.
no buff, nothing, just a d6.
Let's go gambling.
Okay, so
Okay, so
as you kind of rummage around in the storeroom, you do find 4 uh, units of forage. So they can be perishable foods, or they can also be scrap. It's your choice. Non-perishable foods, I mean. The perishable foods all gone bad.
yeah. We choose
Basically,
food.
you're never going to find perishable foods
Because it's already
Yeah.
perished.
unless you hunt it yourself. Yeah.
It perished 5 years
I
ago.
will,
Yeah.
like
Sorry,
my
go ahead,
mother.
Emma.
Ah,
I hope your mother's not watching.
it's Sophia's mother. My mother,
Sophia's
like
okay.
Emma,
mother,
me. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that was a joke.
Your mom sticks
but
in.
I'm
Is like,
going-
what are you talking about?
You just see the hand coming into camera just now. Smack. What did you say?
No, I'm going to choose the food because that's something that we mostly need as a group.
Okay.
Like, we have a lot of scrap already. We need more food. So I
And,
start
you know,
choosing food.
if you clean out everything bad, this would be a suitable place to store a lot of stuff, right? So, something to keep in mind. All right,
Yeah.
now Abigail, in the cooler area. So as you enter the cooler room, it is pretty cool. Not as if it's still being actively cooled, obviously, but it's clearly insulated, right? Like when you open the door, it was one of those kind of like refrigerator type doors with a kind of heavy door, and it's got that
The rubber seal.
I don't even know how to describe it, but it's got a seal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as you step in, it's cooler here than it is in the rest of the building, but most of the racks are empty. However, as you kind of glance around, and you don't even need to tell me where you're looking for this because I'm assuming you're glancing to either side as you step in, you see down here a body.
Ooh.
Sat up against the wall, still wearing what looks to be like a clerk's apron.
Rip.
Oh, there's somebody poking their head up behind.
It's the
Brian.
TV. It's the TV behind Brian.
It's the
Yeah.
TV.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Alex
somebody else.
Wild.
Oh no, that's a person.
Yeah. No, that one is a real one.
see if I get
I'm
a copyright strike on YouTube because of your TV, Brian. You're getting sacked.
Oh no.
Look, you don't see nothing now. See, look, there's no TV. See, you just
Yeah, there's no
like
TV.
this the whole time.
so
The Hallmark movie. Wait, are Hallmark movies like tag or something? Like copyright?
I
Everything's
mean, all
copyright.
movies are.
Yeah, everything's copyright. Yeah.
All right.
It's just a matter of whether or not they can identify it and whether or not they want to come after Oliver and strike him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is
Okay, so-
there is a small niggle in the back of my brain that might happen though.
I can't make out what's happening on that
I
screen.
I don't think it would
yeah.
happen.
I think it's Gilmore Girls.
Well, don't say that.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to edit that out now, Emma. Well done.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Go on.
He's gonna write that in. He's gonna write it in.
Okay. So reset. So Brian, you're in here. It is dark because obviously there are these kind of tiered shelves that are in front of you that would have had the drinks in them, and it's not a super deep shelf, but I mean there's a lot there, and a lot of those drinks have probably gone bad. There's tons of bottles of water in one particular rack, but you don't need it. I mean, I guess if you wanted to grab a bottle of water, you could, but you guys don't have any problems maintaining your water needs.
Yeah.
But as I said, so as you enter the room, off to your right, there is a body there, sat down, wearing a clerk's, what looks to be a clerk's apron. What do you do?
I'll actually go search the body.
So as you move closer to it, because it is quite dim in here,
Mhm.
you, I think I'm gonna have you make a mental save.
Okay.
Hmm.
Roll for
Yay.
sanity. Nice roll.
And you succeed. Okay. So as you approach, it what has happened here kind of clarifies itself in your mind, and you see this clerk that is sitting on the floor. The first thing you notice is their hand kind of fall into the side of their body, and in their hand is a smallish pistol.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, after you notice that, you then look and you notice that they have very clearly used that pistol to exit the game world as it is.
Game over.
Yeah.
Not from the side, but from underneath, and so
Oh, the Cobain.
sprayed up on the wall behind them is just
It's
a
very dry,
dried
frozen.
fountain
Ooh.
of brownish red,
Brain matter.
with little bits and chunks kind of sprayed upwards and almost like a firework, but certainly not quite as bright or celebratory.
So, I will carefully pry the pistol out of the hand.
So the hand is mostly open. It has just
Okay.
kind of fallen down to their side and opened up before rigor set in. So, yeah, it's easy to retrieve the weapon.
Nasty.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
So the hand is open. As it fell down to their side after they ended their life, their hand opened up before rigor set in. So it's easy to retrieve the pistol. As I said, it's a smallish pistol. It is a revolver. Think like a 38 special, something like that. Snub nose.
I was about to say a snub nose 38. Little finger
And how
pistol.
many rounds still in the chamber?
Okay, so as you pop open the cylinder, you can see that there are still 5 rounds in the chamber.
Nice find.
Nice.
Very nice find.
Is that all you'd like to check?
We'll check the rest of the body.
Okay. So I'm going to have you make another mental save. Because although you have probably done so before in this world, this is the first time you've done it as a part of this game. And so basically looting an innocent person's dead body is a questionable act.
Yes.
And so it might affect you. So that, unfortunately, is a fail. So you will gain 1 stress. But the good news is, and don't let me forget this, although I'll try not to, it's probably not going to be a big deal for you anymore if you loot dead bodies. Because now you've dealt with it.
Yeah.
I generally won't hit you with the same stressor.
So is it kind of
more
like
than
Call of
once
Cthulhu?
time.
Like the first time you see this mythos monster, you roll for sanity.
Yeah.
But if you see the same thing again, you don't have to roll for sanity.
Exactly, right.
Yeah,
Or at
got it.
least not in the same session, right?
Right.
If it doesn't have, if you don't, if we have like 2 or 3 sessions where you're like being really good and you're not looting every body you come across, and you do it again in the 4th session, then I might make you do it again. But
That makes sense.
okay, so as you kind of go through this person's body, maybe you're thankful that the temperature has plummeted to sub-zero most times, because you feel like otherwise there would be a lot more rot and deterioration and maybe just dissatisfying moisture. But as it is, like all the bodies you passed outside, this person is largely mummified, dry, in fact. Maybe at one point as you're going through their pockets, you can actually feel like a kind of a crinkle and a crackle as you maybe put a little bit too much pressure on their thigh, and you can feel the structure of their body kind of collapse underneath the weight of your touch. But yeah, as you go through all their pockets and kind of go over them, you find a few things. First of all, you find a key. Secondly, you find a wallet that has some plastic cards, credit cards, things like that. Enough for, strangely enough, one level of tier 3 scrap. Because believe it or not, you can use all that plastic to do stuff with. And some, there's some money in there as well, right? Which could be useful for some things. Obviously not
Firestarter.
useful for you now. Yeah,
Yeet.
exactly. And roll a d6 for me.
One of my favorite things about the apocalypse, how fast money just becomes nothing, just disappears, doesn't exist anymore.
You actually found 2 additional rounds for that particular pistol in their pocket.
Nice finds, Brian.
Okay. That leaves one more room before we conclude this location, and then you decide what to do next.
Oh, and also I rolled a 7 on to make sure if I can get the door down.
Oh, so a 7 is a success in that case. So you are able, you manage to like de-ice it, and maybe you find just enough oil in one of the reservoirs down in the oil section that you're able to oil up the chain and get that door working again. And yeah, you absolutely can close it and open it again if you choose to.
Nice. Yeah, for now he's gonna close it just in case to keep stuff right there. At least we have a natural barricade right here at the moment.
Okay, sure. So who's next? Who wants to do something?
I'll do the last room then. Is that this
Okay.
one here?
Yeah, I think it's the one
No,
with the window, isn't
that
it?
was one of the bathrooms. It's this one.
Oh, right, okay. So I'm going in from this door, so I'll try the door.
Okay, that door is locked.
Okay.
Someone found a key though.
How sturdy a lock is it? How big a lock is it? Like a big one?
I mean, it's a standard door lock.
Like an in the door lock. It's not a padlock on
Yeah,
the outside of it, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's not a padlock. It's just an in the door lock.
I've got no idea how to pick locks.
Well, do we want to just assume that Abigail comes out and sees you fiddling with the door, and that it's locked?
Yeah, if you want. Abigail, are you any good with picking locks?
Hello.
He's checking his sheet.
You have a look.
Well, you did just find a key.
Oh yeah, you found the key.
Yeah, let's see if the key actually works.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's like I think someone found a key.
So yeah, the key does work. It unlocks that door, and you assume it will probably lock and unlock all the doors in this building, would be your assumption.
It's a master
Right.
key.
Hey, nice.
Yeah, that's nice. That's a good thing.
So, opening the door to this room, this is an office, right? There are some rusted and pitted filing cabinets off to one side. This office does actually have a window right here, which is broken. And so this office has been open to the elements. So pretty much all of the structural material in this room has been deteriorated, right? But there is a desk, there is, as I said, a few rusted and pitted filing cabinets. There's a couch that looks like it may have once been comfortable, but now has kind of springs poking up through and whatnot. And there is a safe. The safe is roughly the size of a small refrigerator, not like a drink refrigerator, but maybe 4 feet tall.
Oh, like a big proper,
Okay,
like
yeah.
a proper kitchen fridge. Wow, that's a big
Yeah.
safe.
Well,
Ooh,
we need to get into that.
Ooh, yeah, it might
And
have guns in it.
Although that room has been open to the elements, this safe looks relatively sturdy. It may be showing some initial signs of rust, but clearly this was designed to last.
My first thought is that if we are going to fortify this place, that building will need to be boarded up. But we've got the cabinet, the lockers that we could press up against that. I
Yeah, you
suppose.
could use pieces from the lockers, pieces from the shelves. It would be relatively easy to cover up that window.
But yeah, let's have a look
Well,
at
and
the
we
safe.
can use. Well, we can use the metal shelvings, like those rusted ones, as a fire pit, and just put fire in there. Because I mean, there's a.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
thinking
you
this
could
might be
definitely do that as well.
it might be quite easy to fortify this place for a short-term stay. But first things first, Abigail, does that key work in the safe?
Oh no, this is a straight up like
Combination.
safe.
Okay.
Okay,
I
so
was like,
first thing,
can I
so
break
first
into
thing,
that?
first thing Charlemagne is going to do, he's going to walk up the safe and he's just going to punch in certain numbers and it's.
Oh no, it's a dial.
Yeah.
It's
So he's
not
going,
even-
so he's going to dial it to
Okay. Oh,
a
I
certain
gotcha.
number
I
and then
thought
a
I saw
certain
you
number.
punching.
No,
like,
so
a
he's
keypad.
dialing it to a certain number and the certain number, and those numbers are the chapter and the verse of his favourite lines in the Bible. He's just going for the lucky,
Okay.
his favourite. Like, I don't know the Bible well enough to.
Tell you what,
It's not Ezekiel 25:17, but well, maybe it is Ezekiel
Sure.
25:17.
I will tell you what. Make a luck save for me.
Okay, so I'm going to put in 25:17. Let's say it's the famous Reservoir Dog thingy speech. Yeah, right. Okay.
Well, in whatever Ezekiel is, whichever book that is, Ezekiel 25:17. Yeah.
Ezekiel 25:17 is the path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by those
No,
that
I
wish
know
to
it.
poison and
I'm
destroy
saying
my
like
brothers.
whatever number the book Ezekiel would be in the Bible. I don't even know.
Yeah, so
But you need 3.
yeah, so it's like the 30th book and then it's 25:17.
Yeah, something
like that.
right?
Yeah. I
exactly.
don't know the quote well enough. So what am I rolling? Luck. And that's a
This
save.
is a luck save. Yep.
Okay. And there's no buffs, you just roll it straight, right?
Yep. Roll it straight.
Ugh.
No, unfortunately, that is not the combination for the safe. And no, I'm not going to let anybody else try. I just thought it was an interesting idea that he tried a Bible verse.
It was a little bit of flavour, yeah.
What would the skill be? Would my fix it skill maybe to figure out if I can open it myself?
Interestingly enough, fix is also the skill used to essentially pick mechanical locks. Yes.
Damn.
So this will take you some time, and it is not easy. However, since you have fix in the positive, I will allow you to attempt it.
Okay, so, he kind of walks in, looks around, and sees the office. Is like, huh. In his mind, he's just seeing different items. It's like, okay, I use this. All right, it's like, ooh, safe. I'm gonna like crack his fingers and let me see what I can do. Stick his ear to it and goes click, click, click. See if he can maybe figure it out.
Okay, give me that roll.
So what would be the intelligence fix
Intelligence,
and 2d6?
fix, and 2d6. Yes.
Okay.
Good luck.
This is not easy. Yeah, 5's not going to do it. So you take some time, probably about 10-15 minutes fiddling with it, and you just can't get it. And it's I mean, it could be any number of combinations. I don't know what the possible number of combinations on a dial safe is, but I know it's not small. So unless you use some kind of heavier cutting equipment to open it up, or you find a combination, you're not getting into the safe. Not right now.
If there's three, if there's 3 numbers, and let's say the dial goes up to 50, that's 12,500 combinations.
Right.
Oh no, that's just something right there. It's like when he's bored, like time he could just kind of just click.
Yeah, you could try and
12,500 times.
Yeah. It's like, no, he's not worried about that. It's like, hey, at least we know it's here, and then it's like you couldn't. It's like sometimes saves can have nothing in there.
It's
because sometimes you open it.
That's the thing. It's not going anywhere. We might have plenty of time
yeah.
to sit there and go 001. Nope. 002.
And I did want to say, to be fair, Oliver, you're assuming it only has 3 numbers.
No, I'm just saying. For example, if it's got 3 numbers you have to put in, and there's 50 things on the dial, that's 50 times 50 times 50 is 12,500. Just making a quick example of what it could be.
It just goes up from there. Yeah, exactly.
If it's 4, it's.
So you know where a safe
is.
Is there anything else you want to look at in here? Like I said, filing cabinets, desk. Couch.
Well, it said King will look over Ezekiel. It's like, hey, we can use. He taps one of the filing cabinets in metal. It's like as a fire pit. I mean, we just take all the stuff out, and if it's anything burnable, we can use it as basically whatever area we are. It can actually make some heat for ourselves.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that could work.
Because
Yeah.
he's like, I did manage to get the other door shut, so we can use the main area, or we can use this and just kind of modify the wall or the window so where the smoke can go through, so we don't kind of die from
Smoke
that.
ourselves out, yeah, smoke inhalation. I think this might be a nice place for the night, at least, yeah.
At least it's
So yeah. So is there any way I can rig something like as we're closing up, but just enough where it can actually get smoke to go through? If so,
Well, it depends on where you want to set the fire.
well,
So
that's
if
what
you're
I'm saying.
doing-
If we set the fire in here, because that's the old windows open, but that's a more closed-in area.
Yeah, if you're gonna set the fire in here, like that window is just open, so you'll have no problem with ventilation here.
Yeah. So yeah,
Like,
it's
you could
it's
literally
just
set
I
it
just
up
kind of
right
want to
now.
rig it out where it's enough that it doesn't completely a lot of the cold air in here, just enough where it can funnel it through.
Okay, so you want to take some time to barricade the window, but have it be. Oh, I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, I mean that would take some work, but that I think would be more of a camp endeavor that is done over a couple of days.
Okay. Well, it's
for-
just my thought. It's just kind of
Yeah,
he's just trying
it's
to
like
figure out stuff.
It's a good idea. But yeah, for now, I think, like Oliver is saying, you even with the broken window, like this place would be fairly decent for a place to sleep, and it is getting on in the evening, so you guys are out of time essentially for the day,
Okay.
unless you want to push yourself and travel to the next location. But
No,
if you
I
do
say
that,
we
that will have its own consequences.
No, I think we
Yeah,
stop
I'd
here
say
for
we're
the
good
night.
here. Yeah, so I said, you see King just
Okay.
like takes out the drawers and just sets one to the side and puts it close to the wall, and just like, hey, get some wood and whatever, we can see if we can burn stuff.
Okay, so before we get into that, you've completed going through a location. I'm going to give all of you a point of experience
Hey,
Ooh, thank
Yeah.
you.
we'll add that now, yeah?
for going through a location. Oliver, did you want to perform first aid on
Yeah,
Sophia?
I'm gonna
now
do
that you
first aid
found
on
the
Sophia.
medical kit.
Yeah, so I've got bandages from the medical kit, and I can make a
Yep.
splint. I can get 2 bits of wood to make a
Yeah,
splint.
sure.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, so how do I roll this? Is it
So that's
Wisdom and
gonna
heal?
be first aid. Spending a few minutes. Oh, actually, you don't even have to roll. You can heal 1d6 hit points of damage on a target plus your heal skill level.
Ooh.
So my heal skill level is
Uh,
+1, I think. Yeah. So it's
Correct.
D6 +1.
Now, this is what's interesting about healing in this game. So go ahead and roll the d6 +1. So one of the limiters in this game that prevents you from doing that over and over again, because technically you're probably thinking, well, if that just takes a couple of minutes and I don't even need to roll, I can just do this all the time, right? Technically, yes, but here's the downside. Each such application adds 1 system strain to the target. So you can
Ooh.
essentially only be healed until your system strain is full. And the problem with that is system strain only returns 1 point per day of rest. So system strain is kind of your limiter on how much healing you can receive, if you ever find any, how many drugs you can consume, and there are other things that affect your system strain.
Okay.
So I was looking at the PDF. Did you roll?
I rolled a 3 +1 is 4.
Okay. So Sophia, you can regain 4 hit points,
Hey.
but you
And then back
also
to
gain.
health.
What's that?
And follow back to full health then.
Yeah, but make sure to add 1 point of system strain.
Okay, where do I add it?
So system strain is in the same section that your health is, and you should
Yeah.
just be able to hit that little plus sign next to it to add a point, if I'm recalling.
Oh,
how
so
this is set up.
system strain has to be in 0, right?
So it's better that it's at 0, yes. Oh yeah, that's where it starts. Yeah, you don't have 13 system strain right now. That would be
That would be
horrifying.
bad.
Yeah,
What the hell have you been doing?
Right.
I don't know, drugs, smoking, whatever to find.
Yeah, just everything.
She's been
Okay.
She's been eating humans.
16-year-old just in coke at full speed.
So
Yeah, she's on a
nobody
heroin
else,
bender eating
nobody
human
else
bones.
is gonna. Nobody's gonna. I mean, we're done already, but I want to remind you guys that you have to tell me if you're searching specific areas. So like, there was still the desk there. I'm gonna give you this one for free, but you need to start telling me in the future, or I'm gonna just leave it. So, assuming that someone had decided to go through the desk in the office, you find a full, still sealed bottle of bourbon.
Ooh, that was me that found that because I went in the office.
Yes, yeah, we'll give it to Oliver. Now, what's important about that is alcohol is one of the things that you can use to basically deal with stress.
Yeah,
Ooh.
just like real life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is this a real life? Or is this just fantasy?
Talk about real life triggers, like.
Right.
And we just went through some jokes of trauma right here,
I'm
like
gonna-
my
so
like the
where-
mom
where,
joke.
Where do I add it in? Where do I add it in? It's in inventory, right? And I just go
Yeah, you can just add an inventory item.
add item. Item. So wait a minute. If I just no, okay. So I put it here. Bottle of bourbon,
Actually, did he change that?
and I put it in my backpack. And here's the thing, right? Charlemagne is not going to tell the other guys that he found a bottle of bourbon. None of you know that. That's going to be kept secret from you.
Okay.
Encumbrance 1.
Yes.
Okay. And a condition would be unopened, I guess, eh?
I mean, the
Full.
bottle is still worn, so list the condition as worn.
Just leave it as worn, okay.
Yep. And maybe in the same entry as the name, indicate that, like, put a 5 next to it. You basically have 5 drinks.
5
of
drinks,
bourbon.
okay. So just bourbon times 5 or 5 drinks in
Yeah,
the notes.
that's fine. That's fine.
5 uses.
Actually, I'm trying to see. I might have been wrong about when you regain strain. Maybe you don't unless you do something else. I mean, there's got to be a way to regain it, but let's see. Yep. Yep. Oh, yeah. So strain is usually lost at a rate of 1 point for every night of good, refreshing sleep. So, yeah. Okay. All right. So, anything else you want to do? I know that you were talking about setting up a fire. That's fine. You definitely have the materials to do that here. Anything else anybody wants to do?
No, but out of character for a second, I'd like you to find a nice spot for a 5-minute half-time break, Brian, when you can.
We can do that now.
You want to do that now?
Yeah.
Sweet, let's do that now. And we're back. Take it away, Brian.
So, now that you have cleared this location, I've given you your experience. You all are keeping track of your finds. Yeah, what do you want to do in the evening? Is anybody are you gonna set a watch, or are you going to trust that you're in a relatively enclosed location and everybody just try and get some sleep?
Question for Abigail. So, because Charlemagne kept the bottle of bourbon a secret, I'm just wondering if Abigail made us aware that she found a gun, or was that kept secret?
Yeah, I would let everybody know I found one.
Okay.
Okay.
I would
nice.
share.
Well, I know one of you guys found the key. Are y'all gonna lock all the doors and make sure they're locked for us to get a little more protection, or?
Yeah, should we just barricade ourselves in here for the night? Make a little
I would say
fire.
probably best way to do it, because as I said, I closed the other door from the other one. It can still be open and closed, but at least it's shut. So at least it keeps, stuff from coming in there.
Yeah. Shut the doors, make a wee fire, do some a cappella kumbaya.
Probably. Sounds fun.
Now,
Hey, look, we have a big tarp for a blanket.
the garage doors are easily enough latched from the inside.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you wanted to lock all of the other exterior doors, you would need to do so.
Can imagine
The
metal
sorry,
pull
the
down garage
emergency
doors.
exits.
Sorry.
The emergency exit in the convenience store area only opens from the inside, so that one you don't need to worry about.
Okay.
The door next to the office and the door the door in the garage in the back, not the garage doors, the door in the back of the garage,
That one.
and the door in the front, like the main doors, those can all be locked with the master key that you found. And the door by the office and the door in the garage, those are solid doors. They do have kind of like viewport sized windows that have like the mesh metal running through them. They're kind of like security doors. The doors in the front, though, those are just glass doors. So,
I would say if we can do like where the desk in the front is, like, you know, basically the cashier's little desk. If we have that door that leads into the hallway locked, at least gives us something.
you can be in the back, yeah. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Agreed.
So it's the work of a few hours in the evening, kind of cleaning out. Is there a particular room that you want to stay in to sleep in?
I can imagine that the actual garage, the actual auto shop, probably has some ventilation. Because of
Yeah, they
people,
do. They
yeah.
normally have like
because of people
the
using
fans and stuff.
welding torches and stuff in there. I imagine it is
Uh-huh.
ventilated, that room, so that's probably the most natural place to have a fire. Plus, we've got
Uh-huh.
two
Yeah.
pits, and only one of them had a car on top of it, so we could stick the fire in the other
Yep.
pit.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the one with the car on top of it. You don't
Okay,
need-
Yeah,
the
it's
other
like,
one.
and, what it is
And that's
yeah,
it's
like
easier to contain it
no,
that
gotta
way.
be careful. There's, I don't want to be, gotta be careful. Make sure there's like a residue of fire, because you know.
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna assume you take precautions. But aside from those pits and the truck that's in there, there's a lot of open floor space in the garage, so you could easily set up to sleep in there as well, keeping you closer to the fire and making sure that you're not, suffering while you sleep.
Well,
Because
if
the
I could make
rest
it,
of the whole building is still cold, even though it's enclosed. Like you're in sub-zero temperatures, there's no heating. It's all cold. You're gonna want to be
Yeah.
close to the fire.
well, I was like maybe a suggestion, like with the tires right there, we can actually throw it on the ground and use the tarp on top of it and make it like some kind of bed. I guess.
You could potentially do that. I was gonna say there is. I assume you guys have some kind of like sleep rolls, or well, maybe you're used to just sleeping in your clothes. But if you wanted to be more comfortable, sure. Whatever the specifics of that is, that's up to you. You can easily find comfort here for the evening. To that end, I guess I should note a couple of things. First of all, with stress, because a couple of you have stress.
I think I got some in the first session,
Um,
actually.
Yeah. Oh, and you got that. Technically, the first session was still this day, so you guys still have that stress.
Yeah, I've got
So if
one.
you want to lose stress, there are some things you can do. You can spend a day, a whole day, no travel, no exploration, resting in a safe, familiar place, well-fed and comfortable. I wouldn't say this place is safe and familiar yet. It's not technically your base yet. So, not going to work. You can spend an evening of heavy drinking, feasting, or indulgence, gaining 1 system strain instead of recovering any. Once
Well.
per day, you can talk to a friend for an hour who must make a charisma or wisdom heal or lead skill check, i.e., your priest.
Yeah,
Oh, that's nice.
I have a special skill in this.
I know you do.
Beacon of Hope. Something about you inspires others, convincing them that a better future can exist. Gain lead as a bonus skill and +1 to your charisma attribute. Plus 2 personal followers. Gain a blah blah blah. And once per game session, tell an NPC something that speaks to their hopes, whether it's true or not. They will believe you unless it's physically impossible, proven false, or would put them in unacceptable personal danger.
Okay, so that doesn't specifically help with this aspect of the game, but that is a useful skill. However, you do still have a high wisdom, and you have heal. I believe you also have lead, don't you?
I think, yeah, I do. But see this beacon of hope thing? I think there might be more text missing from the end of that because the R was missing on the end of danger. So I think there might be more after that description that I just gave you.
Okay, hang on. Let me look at Beacon of Hope then. I don't want to short you.
I know it was
Okay,
really cool.
Beacon of Hope, Beacon of Hope, Beacon of Hope. Where is it? Oh, that's an edge. That's not a
Yeah.
Something about you inspires others. Blah blah blah. Gain
Yeah, it's an
lead,
edge.
Yep. +1 to charisma attribute modifier. Yep. +2 up to +2 maximum. Okay, which I believe you're at. They gain bonus to your morale score. No, danger is the end of it. So
Okay.
the benefit, the biggest benefit when it comes to stress though, is that you have, don't you have a +2 charisma modifier?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can roll charisma plus either wisdom or lead to speak to someone and help them recover stress. I am going to put a limitation on that though. You do have to talk to them for a while.
Yeah.
So if you do it during the camping phase, you basically are only going to be able to do that with one person.
Yep. So I'm thinking,
because you have to get yourself ready for bed and all that
Yeah.
stuff too, and you got to eat. Yeah.
so who's got stress? Because I can talk to them and help them. So I can help Abigail. I can spend a couple hours with
Well,
Abigail.
Abigail does. Sophia does. You do. I don't think.
Don't think Kang does.
Kang does.
So I'm thinking, like, I've got
No.
that bottle of bourbon. I can get rid of my own stress once you guys are asleep.
Yeah, potentially.
One night of heavy drinking. What's that? One bottle of bourbon. Just drink the whole lot.
So in other words, you're an Irish Catholic.
Now, what's interesting though is you will still start as. You will essentially, you don't have any damage, but you will essentially heal as if you slept through the night. But instead of gaining system strain, you would lose one. Or instead of losing one, you would gain one in trade for the stress reduction. So yeah, you can certainly do that. If whoever would like to speak to Charlemagne, if you even want to do that, I'm not going to force you to.
I think
You're
because
only at one stress.
because Sophia has hurt herself and she's the baby of the group, she's the youngest, I think I'm going to gravitate towards her for the night to try and calm her down, make her feel a bit better. So
Okay, so you're offering yourself. Well, that sounds weird. You're offering to speak to Sophia and see how she's doing then, right?
Mhm.
So if Sophia accepts that, if you want to talk to Charlemagne about how you're feeling and what's been going on, you don't have to. Maybe you don't know each other well enough yet, but
So-
you have been traveling together for a bit.
Do I roll something?
Well, you do once she decides to do
Okay.
this, right? It is still up to her.
It depends on how he approaches her. Like, does he just sit silently next to her, or does he like speak up? That's my question.
No, he's gonna, in a quiet moment, come and just sit down next to you and just start off with small talk. As much as you can small talk in a situation like this. And then he's
I
just
mean,
gonna...
if you're going to say something like, "Damn, the weather out there," is he just going to look at you like, "What the fuck with old people?"
No, she's gonna come with some. He's gonna come with some positive. Be like, seems like we found a nice safe place for the night. It's not like home comfort or anything, but it feels quite safe. I'm feeling a little better about this place than I did a couple of hours ago. And he's gonna go in gently with that, and then he's gonna try and talk to her about how she's feeling and try and just be kind of inspirational. Tell a story from the Bible about hope and about prevailing in bad circumstances, about someone that came through a lot of bad shit and everything worked out all right.
So he is making it obvious he's trying to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he listens quietly at first, like he just gives him the space to listen, as if she's speaking with her grandpa, and he's telling her stories about old times.
Okay.
And when he's like making a pause, he will talk back, like also interacting with him, kind of distressing that way too.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, RX, go ahead and roll. It'll be which is higher for you, lead or heal?
So lead and heal are both +1.
Okay,
So
so
I've
you're
got
gonna
charisma
roll
+2.
2d6 plus 3. Yep. So
So I do.
charisma plus
Let me
wisdom or heal
clear this out. So I'll go
plus 2d6.
charisma plus wisdom or heal. I'll just do wisdom because it's there. And then plus 2d6.
Uh-huh. Okay, yeah.
Ooh.
So Sophia can reduce her stress by 1.
I've not rolled above average all night.
Actually, let me. Well, average is good though for this game because that's usually what you need to succeed. Is it just 1? Yeah, 1 stress.
I have 1 stress.
Now, what's
I'm at 0 stress.
interesting? What's interesting though, just so you're all aware in the future, if you had failed on that test, RX, Sophia would have gained another stress.
Oh.
Ooh.
So,
I can see that.
So like I said, the wrong
can see
thing.
that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like you start saying, and then you start saying, and then during the end of times, the meek inherited the earth, leaving them all
Yeah.
alone on
Going to a
the
hellfire.
earth
Yeah.
to suffer.
Yeah. Start going
Yeah.
off hellfire and brimstone. Whoops, wrong
Yep,
passage.
yep.
Wrong passage.
Wrong one. All right, so
Yeah.
Sophia's healed. Everybody needs to eat, or Sophia can use her iron stomach.
So I've reduced my 1 day's food to 0 again.
I will grab from the rations I got, and I will pass each of them to each member. Like, here's something to eat, something to
Okay.
eat,
So you
something
give
to
me
eat.
so you give me 1 day's food, so I'll just leave the 1 on my character sheet as it is, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much of this bourbon do I have to drink to de-stress myself, Brian?
So it's a night of heavy drinking. So you're gonna need to drink.
The bottle.
I guess I shouldn't have even told. Take that 5 off of there. You're gonna need to drink the whole bottle. It's a night of heavy drinking.
Yeah, so I think I'll take the last watch, and then when everyone's asleep, I'm going to secretly drink a whole bottle of bourbon.
Okay.
So will I just remove it from I'll remove it from my pack now?
Yeah, so just remove it, and also, so you're gonna remove a point of stress, but you're gonna add a point of strain.
Okay.
System strain. Now, I don't think Kang or Abigail are injured, correct?
Nope. King's good.
Okay, so, and I know Abigail has 1 point of stress. I don't know if there's anything Abigail can engage. Well, you know what? So, one of the things that it says, I'll give this to you as an opportunity, is it says that you could, if you choose, you only have 1 point of stress, but it also says that you could, so, evening of heavy drinking, feasting, or indulgence. So I will allow you to consume another unit of food to basically eat your feelings, as it were, and reduce your stress by 1, but again, you gain a point of system strain.
Now, this might seem
Or
like
you could just stick with the 1 stress, right? It's not something you have to clear every day. You only have 1 point of stress.
it's a
It's not like I am up to my 11.
bit of a meta-gamey
Right,
question
exactly, right.
for you. It's very
Yep.
very meta question, but my maximum stress is 15 and my maximum system strain is 11. So am I not just better to leave it on stress instead of swapping that out for system strain?
Honestly, with 1, so here's the thing. The only downside to stress is if you hit your maximum, and the fact that it doesn't just go away on its own, right? You'd have to do something to lose stress. Now, I would say go ahead and put the bourbon back on your sheet, because
And
there's one thing that I didn't tell you about with, and you know, tomorrow night you could possibly talk to Abigail and help her, you know, whatever. But the one thing I didn't mention is that because I didn't want to put too much on you guys, but it's a good thing to start thinking about. One of the methods of losing stress is to accomplish a major personal goal or community purpose. justifying the suffering. This must be a task worth at least one adventure to accomplish it, or one, string of sessions, right? There's not really an adventure closure point for me anyway. So if you all want to come up with some kind of goal that you're not necessarily going to be able, or I mean potentially, but well, to give you an example, maybe actually I'll make this everyone's first goal. This is your first goal. If you set up a more permanent place, a more permanent base, right? Let's say, well, I won't make this your goal. I'm just using it as an example. If you succeed at that, you actually recover 1d10 stress.
Oh, okay.
So
I've got an idea for a personal goal already, Brian. So,
okay.
So as a shepherd, to gather a flock, to bring more,
Okay.
to bring more people into,
That
into
sounds
the group,
like,
and to give to be a beacon of hope for more people would be a goal for me.
yeah, and so that is the perfect kind of goal, that once you have achieved it, or once either you feel like you've achieved it and so you tell me like, hey, I feel like I'm kind of there, or if I'm like, you're definitely there, then you'll get to roll. And it's not like an overnight thing either. It's like immediate, like once you get it, you get 1d10 stress back, and then you would set a new goal, right? So something to think about. You don't necessarily have to decide right now, but if you come up with a goal that you feel like you can reach, but it's still kind of a major milestone, that's a good way to recover stress as well.
Okay, I got one for my character.
Okay. But yeah, add it to your character sheet or put it in the notes.
Okay.
Would be a good place for it too, and then we can kind of keep track of them there. So that being said, everybody rests for the evening.
Yep.
And so if you have any system strain, which I believe Sophia does, I don't, because she, yeah, then you can remove system strain 1 point.
Good, because that's what I got.
Yep. So that's just automatic every day, assuming you get some sleep. Some good sleep, right?
Well, here's the thing then. If I do drink the whiskey, it puts my system strain up to 1, but then if I get a rest, it puts it back down to 0. So I would have both on 0.
See, that is not how that works.
No,
Listen
right,
to it
okay.
again. An evening of heavy drinking, feasting, or indulgence, gaining 1 system strain instead of recovering.
Right, yeah. So I'm not resting because I'm too drunk.
I mean, you're still technically resting. You would still regain hit points and things like that, but you're not resting enough for system strain recovery. So yeah, I think it's probably smarter to just, it's 1 point that you've got right now.
So just
I
leave
wouldn't
it for now.
sweat that too much, right?
Leave it for now. Save the bottle for a rainy
Okay.
day.
Yeah, keep the bottle for when you hit, like, I think that level of like, I'm gonna really start drinking heavily is like when you're halfway. Then you're like, oh man, the world sucks. I need to pound this whole bottle of bourbon right now, you know?
Yeah, I need to remember I'm role playing a character and not myself, and just put the bottle down.
Wait, you guys are playing other characters with their own personality?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Can you imagine?
you sleep through the night, no problems, no issues. Let me ask you this. Anybody can respond. Does anybody go outside to relieve themselves in the morning?
Absolutely, yeah. You have to.
No.
Yeah,
When
I
do you
definitely
relieve
go
yourself?
outside because there's 2 ladies present. A priest is not getting his pecker out in front of a couple of ladies. I'm definitely going outside to pee.
So, when you go outside, doesn't matter which door, I'm just going to make it that door. Well, yeah, it'd be probably easy to see too. Do you walk around for a bit, just kind of like a morning constitutional, just taking the air?
Yeah, get some air. Also, just check the surroundings, any sign of anybody or anything
Okay.
that wasn't here last night.
So as you do that, you do notice something that you didn't notice yesterday, that nobody noticed yesterday, and there's a very obvious reason for why you didn't notice it yesterday. on the garage door that had been opened, that Kang, I have so much trouble with that name, I don't know why, lowered in the evening, there is kind of solidly in the middle of it, at about chest height, there is a red handprint on the door. Like someone has just taken their hand, dipped it in, and it is red, so some kind of paint, right? It's not like blood or anything like that. And placed it very strongly on the door and held it in place to make a good print. Obviously, there's some indication of dripping there. But if you look closer, like, no, it's dried. And it's also not faded. So it's not
So it's fairly fresh.
something from years ago. This is relatively recent.
And have I noticed that same mark anywhere else? This is the first time seeing it.
So this is the first time you've seen that.
Okay. I'll bring it to the attention of the rest of the guys when I come back in, actually.
Okay. So as you bring it to everyone's attention, Sophia actually has seen those handprints before. The most recent one that you've seen was on the hospital that you were aware of.
I forgot because it has been still a while since I saw the handprint.
Yeah. You while you were around the hospital at some point, not necessarily when you guys scouted earlier because you already knew it was there, but at some point relatively recently, let's say weeks ago, when you were in the vicinity of the hospital, you had noticed several, actually, of those handprints, both on the hospital and some of the surrounding buildings.
All right. So
Do you think it means something?
they went. Yeah, actually, it kind of means something. I mean, someone is marking their territory, and they chose this place as part of it.
Like in a gang kind of way?
Quick question, Oliver. Charlemagne is from Argentina, or is he like
No,
from somewhere else?
Charlemagne is Irish American.
Alright, so Sophia is going to look at him, and he just says, "You don't know the code of the gangs here, do you?"
No.
All right.
I mean, he's from LA. I think he's from California. I think I decided he's from California.
Yeah.
So he does know a bit about gangs, but not in South America.
Alright, so usually some gangs, usually from robbers, will just put up like signs on different buildings as to either warn other people in the gang or from other gangs, or even just as a warning. And I'm not saying these people are robbers or gangs, but the way they are putting up these hands is like they are marking something, and I believe it's like a mark of territory.
It's definitely a mark.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that it's not just someone putting up their hand for fun. I think they are marking this place as their own.
Okay. So we need to keep our eyes open, and maybe this isn't a place for staying too long. We maybe got lucky here last night.
I mean, we already saw this, remember? Back in the hospital. The place was full of this.
Do I remember, Brian? Maybe I don't.
No, so that was just Sophia.
Yeah.
Sophia was the one who had traveled through the area where the hospital was, and yeah, like I said, so you saw a couple of those handprints on the hospital itself, particularly in the entry doors, and then you saw a couple of those prints on other still standing structures, again, generally on entry doors, around the hospital. Probably like 5 or 6, right?
All right.
And I mean, can we assume that any gang is dangerous? That it's not like a peaceful, nice gang.
Well, here's the thing. The word gang is fine, right? Like it makes sense.
Yeah.
But in the kind of condition and in the world that you're in, technically you guys are a gang. Like
Yeah.
a gang is just a group of people, right?
Mhm,
Now
Yeah.
what the intentions of that group of people are, what their goals are, what they are, how they're going to achieve those goals,
No idea.
that depends.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
is it
Well,
potentially a marker of a group of people? Sure. But who's got, I mean, Sophia's pretty smart actually. Don't you have no
yeah,
as
I
a
do have.
skill?
I think I know, but also his hand look the same as the ones I saw in the hospital, like size, form.
Oh, I mean, that's difficult to say. It's a handprint. I mean, you didn't
All right.
measure any of them. But uh it is so I'll say just for uniformity, it is the right hand, as you can tell, because the thumb is specifically on the side that it would be on the right hand. But what I would like you to do is I'd like to make you to make an intelligence plus no check.
All right.
Oh,
So
sure.
make
Tomorrow.
intelligence
Your time to
no.
shine here,
Jeez.
Emma.
Okay. So
3 plus 4.
yeah, 7. That's a success. So what you realize is, while yes, understanding how gangs used to work in Argentina, that makes sense. Uh, you're also thinking about some of your various studies, particularly anthropology, and you know that in prehistory, before industrialization, people would often mark locations for different reasons. It could be an indicator of this is a place we need to check out. It could be an indicator of
This is a safe
this is a
place.
place we have this is a place we have already checked out, right? Just to indicate for them that, oh, we don't need to go in there again because we've already been through there. And when you found it, the doors were open. So it's possible some group came through here, checked it out, didn't find everything, and marked it and moved on.
But
But
what's this?
it
What's
could
this
also
mark
be an
here?
indication of. Sorry, what's that?
Was this mark here before we came in? Like before we entered the place?
We
Was
did.
this
So
mark
We didn't
already
see it
there?
because the door was open.
the door was up, so you didn't see it. So, but I will say that as Charlemagne looked at it, it was very clearly dry. It's very clearly has been there for a while. So yes, it had to have been there. If somebody marked it since the door came down, the paint would still be tacky and easy to rub off, and it's not. That
Yeah.
has been there for a while.
Yes,
I
it wasn't.
will.
It wasn't put there last night while we were in the building.
No, no.
Yeah, that would have been creepy as fuck though. I
Boy,
will
wouldn't it?
put.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, no.
Yeah, like waking up and just going, oh shit. But yeah, Sophia will put her hand on the painted hand, measure it up using her hand as a reference
Okay, so
before taking it back down.
the hand is larger than yours. So yeah, I don't know. Is Sophia a small woman, a medium woman, a large woman?
Well, she's a teenager, so
Oh, a
teenager
teenager.
size.
So this is either a larger adult woman or a medium-sized man, you would guess.
All right. All right then.
Oh,
Someone bigger than me.
one more thing for the print though. I will tell you that it's very clear that that particular hand has a large, deep gash
Ooh, a scar.
across it.
Oh, okay.
So it could be a scar, it could be a wound.
All right then.
Speaking of the differences between male and women anatomy, I learned an absolute beauty piece of information today. So the extra space where a woman has a cervix, a man has a bigger colon, and that's why we fart more. But apparently, because of the smaller
Okay.
colon, women's farts smell worse.
Ooh.
Okay.
Where
That's
did
that's
it come
that's
from?
what I learned about
Where did it
anatomy
come
today.
from?
That's what I learned about
That's
anatomy
wild.
today.
You say that in character. Do you say that in character?
No, that was Oliver out of character for
No,
you guys and
that's-
for the audience.
that's
Nice little
for
piece of
us.
information for you.
Okay,
I was like
so
very seriously. I was very serious taking this, and then you say that, and I'm like laughing, like, oh my fucking god.
Well, maybe
So before-
Sophia mentions
Oh,
that
sorry,
it's
go
a
ahead.
woman's hand and she can tell it's woman's or it's a man's, and then maybe Charlemagne does bring up this fun little piece of information that Oliver learned
I don't know. Does
today.
Charlemagne know that much biology?
Well, Oliver only read it today, so I guess not.
So you found the hand. You've
Yeah.
explored this location. Whether or not you come back to it, what you need to think about now is, okay, so you know there's a safe here. Cool. Oh, and for that end, let me just throw this out there, because obviously you didn't find a combination. The likelihood of you finding a combination out there is small, right? You'd have to be super lucky to just randomly find somebody with a scrap of note in their pocket that says, oh, hey, this is the safe combination for that safe in that one place. I'm just going to tell you now, that's not going to happen.
If we don't find it in this building, we're not finding it.
Right. So, unless you find another way to crack that safe, I will tell you that you can attempt to unlock something that you failed to unlock once you've gained a level.
Oh, okay.
So, after Kang has gained a level, if you wanted to, you could come back here, try again, right? Something to think about. But again, it could be empty. Who knows? I could just be that guy who's like, oh yeah, you open it, but it's empty. But why is it locked then? That's the question. 'Cause you can
Yeah,
leave
it's
safes
locked for a
unlocked.
reason. There's definitely something
Right.
in there.
With all the stuff that you guys have found, I trust that you've been keeping track because I'm not writing it down. Have you figured out who's going to carry what? Is there anything you need to leave here? Do you guys have too much stuff now? Because keep in mind, scrap materials each weigh 1. Food each weighs 1. That bottle of bourbon weighs 1. That pistol weighs 1.
Can I suggest something? We
Yeah.
lock this place up when we leave. And that way we
Okay.
can
Yeah.
perhaps maybe store stuff here if we need to. Also, the food that you guys found, I think we split it evenly throughout the party just in case somebody loses their pack. Same reason as before. I think we split it
Okay,
evenly.
so how much food do you have? How much is everybody carrying?
I
Make
think-
sure you get that all settled.
I have the initial...
I found the 5 non-perishable.
Yep,
Yep,
Sophia
you
found 5.
Sophia found 4.
Which
Sophia
we ate the
found
night
4.
before.
Yeah. Abigail found 5 and Sophia found 4. And we've ate
Yep.
4 last night, so there's another 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody had one last night.
So there's 5. So somebody
Correct.
put 2 in their inventory, everybody else do 1.
I'll take the 2.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll put 1 in my inventory then.
And then there's all that scrap.
Yeah, all the scrap I found, as I said, I'm just gonna put it in the bed of the truck.
And then lock the place up.
You're gonna leave tech level 3 scrap here. Oh, but you're locking the place
We're
up.
locking the
I
place
gotcha.
up, yeah.
Yeah.
So you might still turn this place into a base. You just haven't decided yet.
If anything, it could be like we might have another base, but this might be a good storage area because we don't have if we like a
okay.
backup base or something, because you never know, we might find something cool. But it's a backup base. We can always hey, we still have stuff here.
So just be aware. I don't want to be a dick about it. I'm just going to be upfront. If you leave a cache here, and it's not well hidden, there will be a chance upon your return that it has been taken.
I mean,
I
what
won't
about the
tell
hole
you
I
what that
found?
chance is, but what's that?
We can
Hide
we
it
can
under
use the hole I found and cover it up.
Okay.
We could
Is
crawl
that what you
down
wanna
into
do?
that space and just hide it away in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, we hide it under the
And-
truck.
No, we hide it in the under the building. We hide it in the foundations of the building where Sophia fell through.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe throw some dirt on
Yeah.
it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because we could just
I-
cover it in
yeah.
dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So So how much of the scrap do you want to leave here? Because by my count, and again, you should be tracking this, so I don't have to. But
I got
by
4.
what I remember is that you have 4 Tech 0 and 5
No,
Tech
one.
3.
No, we got one. Like,
You had 4 Tech 0
From
from
the
the
dogs.
dogs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
5 Tech 3 from the garage.
Yeah,
That's
because
what I
have
recall.
I'm just making a
I
note. We
have
have
2
4
Tech
times
3
Tech 0.
scraps.
Oh, and you Abigail has 2 Tech 3.
So that's 8 times Tech
right.
3 total. So we have 4 Tech 0 and 8 Tech 3 scrap.
So yeah, that's 12 slots of encumbrance right there.
Yeah, I think we stash it. And then once we
Okay.
find somewhere, if we find somewhere else that's going to be a better base, we come back and move it.
You
We
can come
don't-
back and grab it.
If we don't find a
Or you
better
can come
base,
back and
we come back
make
and we
this a base,
fortify
yeah.
this place. Yeah,
Okay. Sounds good.
I think that.
So just as long as you guys are keeping track, because I will be 100% honest with you, 4 weeks from now, I might not remember how much scrap you stashed here.
That's fine.
Somebody's got to have that written down.
I have got it written down in red ink.
Okay. All right, I'm
So-
lying. I am actually writing it down too, but still, you guys should be doing it.
Yeah, I've wrote down.
So
Are we going to stash all of it here, do you think?
yeah, it'd probably be a good idea because if we at least put it there, like hidden for right now until we completely have this right there, and I'd say I'm gonna take the tarp with us because that's still gonna be useful. I guess if we
Okay.
make a temporary tent.
So yeah, so rolling
Yeah.
up the tarp and carrying that with you, that's going to be a single. Well, it was a big tarp. That's gonna be encumbrance too. That is a big bundle.
So
You
what
can
we think
still
maybe
carry it.
cutting it in half? Could we cut it in
Oh,
half?
no. Definitely don't do that. No. Keep it in one piece. It's better to keep it in one piece, absolutely.
Okay.
You lose
Yeah.
most of its integrity once you cut it in half.
But yeah, so that's encumbrance too, which again is fine. You can roll it up and just tie a bit of cord around it and just kind of sling it over your shoulder. But like that is quite a bit of tarp to cover up an entire truck. Pardon me.
I think leave it here as well, Kang, until we either settle on another place to fortify, or this becomes our place to fortify. We just
Okay.
maybe don't move too
Well, I
far
mean-
from here as we're
Well-
exploring. Just go in a circle from here, like expand it out slowly, and then
Don't be afraid to use your encumbrance. I mean, I know encumbrance systems can be rough, but this, in my experience, this one's not horrible. I mean, Kang's got what, a strength of 11.
11.
So that means he can carry 11 units stored, and he has on-hand access to. It's rounded up, I believe, so 6. Right. So you have two
Yeah.
types of encumbrance. You have your readied encumbrance,
And
which is half
stashed.
of your strength, and you have your basically like stashed in a backpack or something like that encumbrance, which is your full strength, and
Yeah.
that's in units, right? So pretty simple.
there's
So, I
actually
mean,
a number on the sheet that you can fill in.
Yep, there should be.
So my ready is 4, and my stashed is, pull it up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because each torch is 1. 9. I've got 9 stashed encumbrance. 10. 11. I can't carry all that, can I?
Not without taking some penalties in combat.
Yeah, because I've got winter clothing, sleeping bag, tinderbox, 3 torches, food and water, a spear. Yeah, I've got like
So
11.
I'll be back in a sec.
Notice.
So your winter clothing, you should be in your readied equipment. You should be wearing it.
Ah, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me move that then. Oh no, that is in my ready.
Okay.
So that's
your
total of
ready is
4. So
4.
sleeping bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is each torch 1? 7.
Torches can be bundled in groups of 3
Okay.
for 1.
So I've got 3 separate torches, so I'll delete them and make a bundle of torches.
That's fine. Now, if something is bundled, that means it's going to take longer to pull it out. But
Yeah.
that usually only is an issue if you need something like that round in combat, which is not often the case. You don't need to pull out a torch in the middle of combat necessarily.
Yeah, now I've got the shotgun as 1 and the shells as 1. They're not. That shotgun and shells would be 1 together, wouldn't it?
No, the shells are 1.
Oh my gosh. I've got...
Yeah.
Right, okay. So, I'm counting again.
But
1.
shells, for shotgun shells, it's like up to 20 is 1.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So readied encumbrance should be for stuff that you currently have equipped or easily at hand, like the shotgun shells are in your pocket, right? Your stored encumbrance is stuff that's in your backpack. And the backpack itself doesn't have any encumbrance.
The
It
torches
allows you
aren't
to-
deleting when I'm trying to delete them, by the way.
They're not?
No, I can't delete things from a character sheet.
Hang on, let me take a look. Charlemagne. Let's see. Torch.
See,
So you can't delete that.
no, and I've got another one underneath the 3 torches that I don't think it's deleted either.
Am I the only one who... That's weird. So torches 3, so I can delete that torch. And I can delete that torch. Are those deleting for you?
Nope. But
You might.
let's
you
not
might need to
stress it.
refresh.
We're moving to Foundry. Oh, I'll refresh, see if that helps. But I think
'Cause
one
I
of them
just
deleted.
them all.
So I've got the torches in the middle, then I've got one there and one there,
Yeah.
above and below. And
We're probably moving to Foundry, so don't sweat it.
yeah, I'm not gonna
And
sweat it.
if I get Foundry set up, I'm gonna move your characters over anyway, so you guys don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's assume that aside from the scrap that you're leaving stashed here, you guys are going to be able to carry everything else that you need for supplies, torches, the food, right? You probably don't want to leave food behind, not that you have that much to begin
No.
with. So the scrap I have written down that you have stashed.
Okay.
And hidden. I've marked that as well.
Yep.
My
Tell you
stowed,
what, though.
stowed weight is 9. I'm
What I would
definitely
like-
encumbered.
What's that?
My stowed weight is 9. I'm definitely encumbered.
Okay, but here's the thing. If you get into a fight, you can drop your backpack.
Yeah.
And assuming you don't have to flee, or you don't need anything out of your backpack, then you won't be encumbered. Does that
But
make sense?
I've got a strength of 9. So does that mean I can... Sorry, I've got a strength of 14. Does that mean I can carry 14 encumbrance?
Oh, I thought you were saying your strength is 9. So you're
No,
fine.
sorry, my strength's
So
14.
Yeah, so that means you can have 7 readied
Mhm.
and 14 stowed.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. I
Okay.
thought it was 7 and 7.
No.
Oh,
7
I'm,
and 14.
I'm more than fine then. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't need
okay.
to stress that.
All right, so now the question is, and I guess we can move back to the map.
Okay.
Let's see, show party. Here we go. You guys like the little stickers I made for you?
Yeah, they're very cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Very cool. Very
I
cool.
like them. I like them.
Well,
Yeah, they work.
They work. Let's put a blue push pin on the map. I thought I had a push pin already, but I guess not on this one.
okay.
So you guys are at the auto repair shop.
hmm
Where do you want to go now?
I would say
Or
maybe
do
the
you-
church because it's right across the way.
Well,
Yeah,
right
either.
across. It's in another hex. That means you're going to have to travel.
Oh, that's fine. Huh?
But again, just to remind you of your choices. So you've got the auto repair shop. You can scout this hex, which takes 2 days, and as you have discovered, earns experience.
Okay.
But the question is, do you have enough food for that? You can forage to try and get more food. But as you've discovered, some people are going to need to work on their survival skills because foraging is
Oh.
based off of that.
Yeah.
Or you can head on towards another location. We can basically, with the time that we have left, we can travel to that location, see if you have any encounters.
Okay.
Now, if you want to go to the church, I would agree with Max. It is relatively close, so you could probably do a half-day forage if you choose to.
Should we try that then? Go for the church and then do a half day
Yeah.
Probably a
forage.
good idea.
Yeah. Do that.
Yeah, I think let's do a forage.
Okay. So, again, what is everyone's survive skill?
-1, I
I
think.
Mine's
just
a
need your
-1.
skill
Negative
ranking.
1.
Okay, so neg1.
I think so. Let me double check.
0.
-1.
0, and neg1. Okay. So, Emma obviously is going to make the roll for this. Keep in mind it's 2d6
No pressure.
plus wisdom plus survive. And your wisdom is 0 as well, correct?
No, my wisdom is 1. It's a 14.
Okay, so it's
Oh,
2d6
nice.
plus 1 is what you're rolling.
Alright, let's go gambling.
Good luck.
10. That's a success.
Nice.
Oh,
wow,
nice
So,
roll.
nice.
Nice roll.
Unfortunately, and I don't know if I made this clear last time, but one of the negatives of everyone not being trained in survive is that you actually subtract. So you add everyone's survive skill as a bonus to the d6 roll, but since 3 of you are negative, you're
taking
actually
3 off
subtracting
it.
3.
Yeah.
You guys
So-
better start on learning some survival skills
Right?
already.
Yeah, I think that's the first
It's
thing
been
I'm going to
5
try
years.
to
They probably should. So, at any rate, it's a wonder they've survived this long, right? So at any rate, you're gonna roll a d6 minus 3.
Alright, let me just.
The minimum is still 1 though, so you could probably find at least 1 unit of food. You find
3.
1 unit of food or scrap, up to you.
No,
I would say food.
No, she's done the -3 in that. So that was 3. That was 3 with the -3.
Oh, you
She's rolled a
find
6.
3. Okay,
Yeah.
so you can either find 3 food, or you can mix some scrap in there if you want to as well. It's up to you.
Go for
But
food.
if you're
I do.
foraging, just to be clear, if you're foraging for scrap, scrap can only be tech level 0 or 1. You can't find
Okay.
tech level 2 or 3 scrap by foraging.
Alright.
Good.
Can I like do two food, 2 rations, and 1 scrap, or does it have to be one or the other?
Oh, it could be both, but I would encourage you to just focus on food for right now, because you guys want to get to a point where you have enough food in reserve that you can scout for 2 days.
And we've got quite a
Because-
bit of scrap already, actually.
And you do have a decent amount of scrap hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with scouting hexes is it takes 2 days, at least in the location you are, and because it's so dense, and it does give you a point of experience for scouting a hex, but you got to have enough food to cover those 2 days, right? And so for the 3 of you, that's essentially 7 food with Sophia's iron stomach.
Yeah.
So I would say go for food, right? And that brings you up to 8,
Right.
so that each of you are carrying 2 units of food.
Okay, so everybody put 1 unit on their sheet then?
Well, except for the person who already has 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already have 2.
Okay. So, that being said, though, I do need to make an encounter check because 4 hours have passed.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't do an
Alright.
overnight check, but that's fine. You guys were in a closed area. Oh, that is not the right die. Oh, because I still had 2d6 up there. Let's just roll a single d8. All right, that's fine. So, traveling through the streets, again, the weather is holding. Every once in a while, there's some drifts of snow coming down. You're not really sure if it's coming from the sky or maybe from some of the surrounding ruins being blown down on top of you. Still frigid, of course, every day is. But you managed to find a relatively direct path to the church. However, since you are entering another hex, that does still take at least an hour to get from where you are on foot to where the church is. That being said, as you approach the church, with which someone spotted the steeple of, I would imagine, from Ramos Mejia, you see that it does appear to be intact, as you assumed. It looks like a church. It is a standard kind of mini cathedral type church. There is a dome with a steeple that comes up, obviously with a cross at the top. It looks like the church might be tall enough that there's perhaps a gallery looking down upon the central nave, possibly for a choir setup or maybe additional seating up there for services. That being said, it's still a relatively small church. There is a small, off to the side of the entrance, there's also a smaller kind of circular structure with another steeple. Charlemagne would know, even just from looking at that from the outside, that would be the baptismal font and holy water room that's just off the main entrance. There do appear to be some other additional kind of extensions from the primarily cross shape that all churches share. But I will point out that this particular church does not appear to have an attached rectory. So either the rectory, which would be where the primary priest lives, possibly also other attendants, and often usually there's an almshouse and things like that attached to it as well. Either the rectory has burned down or crumbled if it's nearby, or maybe this is just kind of a church that people congregate on, but is not something that anybody actively lives at. It does look like maybe in the back, from what you can see from the street, there might be a couple of spaces off of the front of the church, which would be, further away from you because it's not by the entrance. I guess I should say the rear of the church. That maybe were offices or something like that. There does also appear to be on the right-hand side of the church, well, not appear to be, it's pretty obvious, a small graveyard. So that's that. And I guess I can bring up the picture of the church, but I don't know that we will start exploring that until next time.
All right.
So there's my work on the map of the church. Oh, and I didn't put the front doors on it. Duh. But
we're going to enter.
I knew I forgot something. The front doors would be down here. So yeah, I think we'll save the opening of the church until next time. What do you say? And hopefully by then we'll be on Foundry, which this is a great VTT. If anybody who works on this VTT is watching this playback at a later date, it's a great VTT. It's just I'm more familiar with Foundry.
We have experience with Foundry, yeah. But this has served us very well, so shout out to the guys that make this.
Yes.
Playroll.com. Playroll.com if any viewers want to try out a really handy VTT that's free of charge, Brian, right?
It is. They do have subscription levels.
Browser-based.
But you can accomplish a lot with... all of us are currently playing at the free level, so... Everything I've been able to accomplish and show you, all the character sheets, it's all done at the free level. So,
well, shout out to playroll.com. Nice little VTT.
Absolutely.
So, are we going to leave it there for next session then, are we?
Yeah, and I think our next session will be in the new year.
Will be. So...
Is that correct?
Nice.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, our next one would have been Christmas Eve, but we're not playing Christmas Eve, so it'll be the 2 weeks after Christmas Eve, yeah.
So it'll be the 7th.
Yes.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So I will see you all on the 7th.
Yep. Okay. Well,
Sounds good.
Have a good holiday if you celebrate.
Yeah, I was about to say to the viewers, Thank you very much for watching. We will see you in the new year. So, happy holidays, whatever you do or don't celebrate, and happy new year. We will see you
Absolutely.
in 2025. I'm RxOliver.
Thank you for watching.
I'm RxOliver. That's Brian. That's Brian. That's Emma. That's Max.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Night.